Hello, I am Brandon, the humble host of Actual Play Broadcast. This will serve as an introduction to our broadcast for the time being. As we record and publish more, it shall change. We are still getting things set up, so apologies for any errors, skips, or silence that may occur. Everything will be smoothed out in due time. Please enjoy our broadcasts of various RPGs, and remember to tune in for more every other week, as continuations or new adventures will be posted at such times. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Fuck, shit.
I caught it. Nice try. Welcome back, everyone, for the second session of the murder mystery game. It's not yet named. It'll be named when I put it in the archive for the aliens to hear as I beam it out into space like a crazy person. But
I hope they enjoy.
I hope so too.
Dingus Donkus. And the bonk that clonged.
That was a lot of words.
I'm GM Brandon Smith, and these are my players.
I'm
I'm
Cindrah.
I'm Damiani.
And this is going to be part 2. When we last left off, a somewhat called tense dinner was held, where the king of Stannisgar threw a shit fit about how he had qualms with all of his children, and that he would soon be dying. 2 weeks' time. Well, everyone goes to bed, wakes up, finds out someone sped that process along for him, primarily by decapitating. So... Yep. No place to put that crown now, so now we have to figure out a few things.
Gotta make sure I talk to my kids before I die. Make sure they know how much I hate them.
Yeah, no shit.
Specifically called them all here for that.
He wanted to talk to him. He was just like, I need to figure out who my successor is going to be. Well, they're all acting like a bunch of assholes. Fuck them all. I guess I'll make the decision anyway. Dies. Yeah. Like you do.
Yeah.
But now, we left off last time with everyone entering the room and they've seeing his corpse lying in his bed. So I think that's where we would pick it up.
All right. So, first order of business. Do I see the head anywhere?
No. Not without a
Okay.
perception check.
Yeah, I'll make a look around.
Fuck.
Do remember to call out your what your roll results were in APB, so our listeners at home, because I need to figure out a dice rolling noise that I could just sit there and push a little button for everyone at home.
You can put it on in post.
I
Record.
got a fucking 8.
I won't be doing that.
That sounds like a pain in the ass.
It is 8,
21.
21.
Stupid.
How about the
Wait,
detective?
Maybe a perception or investigation check?
I would accept either.
Okay, I'll make an investigation check. I'm gonna...
Oh.
Now you say that.
Yeah,
it
my
up.
investigation check would have been better, but you know,
You should have asked.
you're right.
My investigation is one less. I just like to poke fun.
I'm
My
gonna pull out
investigation
a
is 2 more.
tiny gnome-sized pipe as I look around.
Gnome-sized pipe, so a thimble with a stick.
Yeah, basically. Purple smoke comes out of it. And that was a relatively low roll of 21.
Yeah.
The adversary's reefer.
With an 8, it's gone. It's not here. You don't know where it's at. With a 21 or 23, which one makes you feel better, Jorson. The head is not in the room. And Detective Zazzy, you would also note that it is not in the room. You do spy a blood trail where, like, there's no reason to believe that, like, he bled, lied down, covered himself up. So you imagine that this is where the head was removed, and you follow the blood trail to a window that is ajar. And you look out, and you see that it is.
Yeah, I stand on tiptoe to look out the window.
It leads down a hill into the forest of evergreen.
What floor are we on, by the way? Is this just the
Second
floor?
It's only a 2-story.
Okay.
Well, 3-story if you can in attic.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe we found where the head went, even if we haven't seen it exactly.
With those investigations as well, the blood is very dry. This was a bit
Like
into
early
the
in the
night. This was a while. He's been dead for a while.
Anybody know what the moon phase was last night?
I mean, my character knows, but I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking in character.
Oh.
And I will be approaching the bed where I assume the body still is.
It was a full moon.
It was a full moon last night.
Hmm.
Or rather, it is a full moon tonight. I think it's still night.
That's fair.
It's the next morning.
Oh, I thought
okay.
it was. I thought it was.
I thought we got woken up in the middle of the night.
You got woken up. But it was like early in the morning. It's just like, all right, King, we need to check on you, make sure you get. Holy shit!
So you slept a little wrong, got a bit of a crick in your neck.
A little bit.
Don't want to just go outright and say it, because it also seems almost too obvious, but they fucking werewolves, maybe? I mean...
Well, this doesn't look like... Well, does it look like the work of a blade, or...
Yeah.
Upon investigation of the body, so quick glance, this is what you get for free, no rolls at the moment. You see tucked underneath, like his back, you see a handle sticking out.
Oh, what do we have here?
It is a cleaver. It is just bloody.
I have a 23 to examine the wound of the decapitation.
I'm gonna also do an examination. I presume. Do I get advantage because I'm checking if it's like werewolf related, or do I not get it because it might not be?
You will not be getting advantage. Because there's a bloody cleaver that has just been pulled out from underneath the body, and their head is missing from.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I can, without an investigation, kind of draw the conclusion.
Somehow this feels a little too deliberate for a went and werewolf attack.
I was more throwing it out there. Like I said, it seemed a little too obvious, but you know,
understandable.
I won't totally rule it out still yet, because werewolves have thumbs, so still seems a little weird, but
that's fair.
How clean does the cut look?
That also what you are looking at, detective?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got a 23 on investigation to look at the wound, the murder weapon, etc.
Examination of the body will yield a lack of hesitation for cutting off the king's head. One strong, swift cut.
This is one of two things, then. A consummate professional in decapitation, or something really fucking strong.
Or at the very least, someone who knew their way around a meat cleaver.
The siblings are now all...
That's what I mean by a consummate professional in decapitation. Being good with a cleaver is fine and dandy, but while it may look easy when some do it, it is no simple feat to make such a clean cut, especially in one fell swoop. It requires a lot of strength and the right angle.
This is true.
All the siblings are now in the room. Sorry.
Oh, if I kind of take the cleaver and sort of line it up with the wound and examine where the blood smears onto the blood to be the thing that actually made the cut.
With your investigation of 23, you feel very confident that it is a cleaver or cleaver-like object that did it, and the blood would match. There is a spray, obviously, as cutting through someone's fucking hair. Yeah, it's going to make a mess.
Just wanted to make sure this wasn't like planted here as a decoy or something.
All the kids are in the room now, and a number of them are distraught. Particularly Daisy.
So, my character is probably going to be focused on. There's a blood trail going to the window. Presumably, they went out the window. What floor are we on?
Second.
Yeah.
Cool. Do I see, anything where presumably someone would land if they jumped out?
I mean, there's a number of. So, a cursory glance, you see a number of bushes. Once again, it's downhill. Like, we're talking probably 45 or steeper degree slope. So, if they landed, they had to be pretty nimble to jump out the window, land, and not go down that hill. Give me an perception or perception or investigation.
I'll take investigation.
Okay. While you make that roll,
possibly be jumping out too.
The kids are. What happened in here? Why is that a cleaver? They're all kind of just rambling and just trying to like ascertain what's going on. They're all obviously distraught.
I am sorry to say that your father has been murdered.
Murdered?
I have not determined who killed him yet, but I assure you we will in due time. And as I say that, I'll kind of watch them all for their reactions to
insight. With a 16, so you said that was investigation, right?
That's a 16 for my investigation, yes.
You are looking out, and it's kind of dark, so you can't get a lot of detail like on the ground or anything, but you don't see anything that shows like recent disturbance of like the bushes below. Like, not like anything heavy landed in it and fucking pulled itself out. The bushes still look like they're well tended to. If someone landed in the bushes, they were very careful to either they took the time to make it look like nothing happened, or if they did land in the bushes, they did so very, like, they'd be very light. Because they would not have caused, like, you don't notice anything that's just, like, stands out as being heavy disturbance. Or moving aside any of the branches in the bush. It doesn't look like there was a point of impact. 22.
Yep.
You see a number of things. All of them are hit with grief, obviously. And like there's waves of emotions for several people. Cassandra and Alexis, it's sadness then anger, and then relief, but then guilt.
Oh, like guilt about feeling relief.
Yes. With that in mind, Alexander just looks fucking flat out angry. To the point where he's like is marching into the room and about to start moving shit.
Which one's Alexander?
The paladin.
Right.
Yes, that one. I'm assuming there's like the head guard dude is present.
Yes, he's the one that woke everyone up and is currently like trying to figure out what's going on.
It's the guy that came here about the dead in the room.
He's not in the room. He's outside, like trying to. Fuck happened?
Oh, okay.
I will.
He's
I'll
in.
make a.
Sorry.
I will make a quick glance to Alexis. See if she needs any immediate attention. Assuming she's being Alexis and is putting on strong face.
I mean, as far as you can tell, like she looks grief stricken. It's just like
but she's not like unraveling in front of everybody.
No, that's more Daisy.
Yeah.
Daisy is starting to unravel. Alexis and Tabitha are trying to like get her out of the room.
In that case, I will turn my attention to the head guard and be like, "My good sir, I suggest we go under a bit of a lockdown for the time being. Nobody leaves."
Of course.
I concur.
Anybody tries to come in, hold them at the door and come find one of us, and we will deliberate whether or not they will be allowed in. As somebody arriving the day after this happens should be scrutinized. Otherwise, nobody should be allowed to come and go, except to investigate.
Of course. Francois, Gillian, round up everyone. Keep them in the foyer. Who should I? I'm the guard captain. Is do I go down half a day's journey and go get more guards? I mean, we have 15 men here.
Send a pair of runners. If you have horses on hand, give them the fastest that are available and have them run for more to come. And I would see about a perimeter. Would probably be the wisest.
That's a good thinking. Dubois, with me! And they run out the room. You hear him barking orders. Alexander is in the room with Frederick and Cassandra, still with you three. This is troubling. Who do you think did this? Who could have done this?
Is that Frederick asking?
This is Alexander.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not sure yet, but I intend to get to the bottom of this. To get to the bottom of this as soon as possible. I am sorry this happened at all, but especially at such a time for all of you.
Do you think someone here did it?
Someone here would have had to.
Cassandra,
Not necessarily.
Cassandra pipes up. That's nonsense. Why would any of us do it?
I think it's fair to say, after that little episode last night, somebody could have the motive for a crime of passion. However, I don't think we should entirely rule out the potential of, say, an assassin from a rival political grouping or nation who could quite possibly be hiding nearby or maybe even within the house.
Exactly. Everyone should stay with at least one other person, preferably two, until this investigation is concluded for their own safety.
Of course. Would you mind if we had some of our representatives stay with you? Cassandra, Marco can stay with them, right? And I can have Lexington go with them as well. Just that way we can stay informed and everyone is together. I think that's a good idea. I see no problem. A representative from each of the children.
That sounds like a good idea.
Of course. Well, I believe as a good starting point, we do have the murder weapon here. If it wasn't brought in from outside, it very likely came from the kitchen, given what it's normally used for. Which I am led to believe, since if someone were to come here from elsewhere with the intent of assassinating the king, they probably would have brought something that is more traditionally used for such acts.
Yes,
Puff on
the
pipe.
meat cleaver seems
Up
improvised.
on pipe.
Are there night staff for your kitchens?
I mean, there's always the butlers and maids, and then Bertrand Kane, he is the head chef.
But are there, out of any of them, are there any that are coming and going in the kitchen at night?
Would any have seen someone going and borrowing this meat cleaver?
Maybe. I'm not sure. There's no one that should be up and about that late at night. I mean, I believe Bertrand and some of the servants are up the latest cooking, not cooking, but cleaning after meal preparation.
Well, I believe it's obvious that whoever did this is beyond caring about what they should or shouldn't do.
We should have them set aside for questioning, and we should examine the rest of the room. Maybe there's something here we're missing
Indeed.
in a passing glance.
Of course, we will have no one disturb you unless something important happens.
Thank you.
All right, so you said you were at one point investigating, like, you were looking. Who was looking at the cleaver? I know someone said they were.
Oh, that was me.
Taking a closer look. Can you give me another investigation? What is Jorson doing? I'm sorry that I thought you.
He's investigating the room itself.
Okay, give
for
me.
traces of things.
All right, then give me an investigation then.
Okay.
I forgot to add my bonus on the roll, but that's a 30.
Fuck. That was only a plus 10.
Investigation's plus 13.
Jesus.
Damn.
Intelligence is my main stat.
30. With a 30, that is a mahogany handle, and this looks like
Very
this.
finely crafted.
The steel was made in the southern regions based on the amount of sand and grit used to sit there. So you're fucking 30. Fuck me.
Oh wow, this cleaver is
Wow.
immaculate.
Fuck me, I guess. I got an 8.
Not very well
That
cleaned
one.
last night though.
But the important thing that you know about the cleaver is that you look at it and you see that, like, carved in very ornately and purposely, is a name. Bertrand Kane.
So this is definitely owned by Bertrand Kane. Or made by him, I don't know. Probably owned by him.
Within.
Right, well,
Sorry.
I believe I can conclude that this cleaver did come from this house's kitchen. It bears Bertrand Kane's name.
With an 8, you're looking through the room, and it is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but a lot of it doesn't look like it's been disturbed recently, so you believe was no sign of struggle. But there's a bookshelf, there's a vanity desk and mirror. There's a writing desk. There's a rug with an open chest that looks like it holds just like tossed clothes inside of it.
Laundry hamper.
Yes.
Standard things for rooms.
Is that 15 for the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Investigation.
Taking a look around. Your first thought is, okay, did someone sneak in through the front door?
Yeah.
Like, did someone like slip a guard? Maybe it was the guard. But you look and no sign of forced entry. It looks like if someone got in through the front door, they just through his door, they just opened it up. You don't see scratches along the locks. In fact, you see that the locks are new.
Interesting. The locks are new, huh? No scuffs or anything by the window or the door.
None that you notice.
Actually, that's a question. Does the window have any sort of locking mechanism on it?
On the inside, yeah, it's a little just simple latch.
Is it latched?
No,
is
it was open when you all came.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's a small thing, but our killer doesn't know Mage Hand.
Why do you say that?
I know my fair share of thieves back in the day who would, if they went through a window, they would Mage Hand the latch back shut.
Fair.
It was easier to let them think that a door was used than somebody utilizing, well, lockpicking a door rather than somebody using magic to get in through a window.
That makes sense.
So I don't necessarily want to stretch, but our culprit may not have magic at all.
At least not that kind of magic.
Certainly.
Though I suspect if they did, they might have used it at some point in this act. If it was, especially if it was planned ahead of time. But we're not sure about that yet.
My experience, most assassins are practitioners of the arcane rather than the divine. So I am, unless the king had political enemies that were of a more cult styled origin of some such, I think chances are if it was a magical assassin, they would be practiced in the arcane arts and probably paid for, rather than a servant of whoever the enemy might be.
I agree. And this probably would have been done much more cleanly by such a specialist.
Exactly. So
Unless the intent was to make a statement, I suppose.
Yes. So once again, nothing that really necessarily narrows things down, but it does potentially paint a picture, more of a picture anyways, of who our suspect is.
Yes. I'm going to set the cleaver back down and examine the blood trail to try to kind of discern how directly of a path this person took toward the window. Like, did they kind of stand there for a bit trying to figure out what they were doing, or was it just like chop, grab, go?
Sure, give me another investigation. As we now are examining the blood trail more closely. 32.
Sorry to disappoint. It is only a 25.
Yeah, real disappointed. It's fine. I knew it was going to happen. So it looks like there was a moment of, oh shit, that happened.
I actually did it.
And then the blood trail goes to the window. There's a moment, like maybe where the head was there a little for just like a moment longer.
Like while I opened it, probably.
Yep, and then it goes out the window. And that's where you lose it.
Okay. Examining this trail and reading the path that was taken by our perpetrator, I don't believe they had planned this entire operation out beforehand. They seem to have been somewhat in a state of shock after the act, which is understandable if you didn't expect to be doing this before the night began. Holding the head for a time before making their way to the window, then opening it and throwing it out. Where I think if this were completely premeditated, they may have opened the window ahead of time and been more expedient at carrying the head away.
A crime of passion.
Or, exactly. Or perhaps not even carried it away at all. I, at this moment, without seeing the head, don't see why they would have even gotten rid of it, while leaving the rest of the body and the weapon here for all to see.
The head is the head of their victim, the person that they focused on. To get rid of that may have been very well their way of separating themselves from it.
Perhaps.
Mm.
Flinging it
Marco
back
and Lexington are both kind of just standing in the room. It's just like, is there anything we can do to help?
Who are Marco and Lexington again?
Marco is one of the big burly dudes that goes with Cassandra, and Lexington is of Alexander's order.
Oh, okay. As of yet, there isn't anything we need help with, I believe, but we will not hesitate to call upon you if we do need something.
Okay.
No, I should.
Be more calculating. I do not believe this head was a trophy or a way of separating themselves from it, as you said. While I think passion could be a motivation here, I think this is very likely premeditated, but still from an emotional base.
And perhaps not by someone with experience in such things.
Typically, taking a head is to make a statement. That said, somebody like a king is of significant status. Taking a head of a king is already a big statement. Taking it off into the woods, however, is another thing entirely. That's not a statement. That's getting rid of evidence. As a king would have the resources to be able to access somebody with the necessary magics to at least temporarily call him back from the grave.
Ah, this is true. And such spells would not work without his head.
Abraham Stock, the guard captain, returns. I've gathered everyone. I've gathered everyone in the house up. There is only one person on account. A young maid by the name of Vanessa.
I don't believe we met Vanessa last night.
She's worked here for some time, about a decade or two. She was maybe 16 when she first started working. She's just another one of the servants who helps out with the many duties around the house.
Was she expected to be here?
She should be. There's the servants' quarters is downstairs.
All right, then I believe that is something to look into. At the same time, I would like to take one last thorough look around this room, and then I believe I should go attempt to retrieve the head.
Okay.
I would like to take a look at the cleaver.
Alright, I step aside so that he can, and I pull out a small tool that is a circular crystal lens with a straight handle on it. I mumble a command word into it and then look through it around the room to activate my gem of true sight.
So anything that is invisible you'd be able to see, correct?
Yeah, it's a few things. See, for the duration, the character has true sight, notices secret doors hidden by magic, and can see into the ethereal plane. See, true sight itself is see in normal magical darkness, invisible creatures and objects, automatically detect visual illusions and succeed on saving throws against them, and perceive the original form of a shapechanger or a creature that is transformed by magic. Furthermore, the monster can see into the ethereal plane within the same range.
Okay. There are no secret doors hidden by magic.
Alright.
There is nothing invisible in the room. Are either one of you glamored up?
No, but boy howdy, would I be like really sus if I had picked Order of the Lycan right now.
Oh,
Okay,
Order of the Lycan,
especially
you can shift back and forth, so.
I think your true form would be your human form,
Maybe.
but it would be kind of funny, especially after like offhand the mention of like maybe he was a werewolf, and we're just like, no, it can't be a werewolf. See a werewolf? Wait a sec. No way.
And then if you'd like
Oh,
to
man.
give an investigation check for the room.
Yeah. Oh, you go first. I've got a thing I need to do.
Oh,
For
I
the
forgot my
cleaver.
29.
All right. Let's see. Just these things. You see, there's no sign of a struggle. That's already been confirmed.
Yeah.
Just going down my list of things that you can see in the room. Just give me a second.
Mhm.
The desk looks tampered with. There's a writing desk off to the right side of the room. It looks like some of the drawers are kind of ajar, like they were opened but not closed all the way. Just slightly ajar. There is a book on the top shelf of the bookshelf that looks like it has it's sticking out more than the others, like noticeably so. It's not like, oh, it's not pushing all the way or it's a little longer. It's like, no, this has been pulled out recently. And there is, on top of the desk, you notice a piece of parchment.
I'll move over to the desk, and well, I'll let Damiani do the thing with the clear first because I've got a few things to look at. I don't want to like.
One more thing. You notice that the vanity mirror, it's a mirror with a small desk, like where someone would put makeup or like accessories, probably from his late wife. You see that it doesn't quite touch the floor.
Oh, like it's attached to the wall or something.
It's attached to the wall. It's raised a little bit.
Interesting. Is it on the same wall as the bookshelf?
No, on the bookshelf, yes.
Oh, okay. I see. I'll come back to that.
Alright, and then you are examining the cleaver, correct?
Yes, I'm going to be using my Grim Psychometry Blood Hunter ability.
Okay.
I love that ability.
Which will allow me to gather information about the sinister or tragic history of an object that I touch. I have advantage on the check, and if I roll suitably high, you have the discretion of I might experience visions or what have you
Okay.
connected to it.
Let's see those dice.
Was this really that tragic though? It's real.
I'm thinking it's more sinister, especially if
fair.
it's premeditated.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but premeditated murder seems pretty sinister to me.
True.
I call it Tuesday.
All right, so 20.
20. So it's at my discretion whether or not you receive a mission.
Yeah. It just says at DM's discretion, a suitably high roll may cause your character to experience brief visions of the past connected to the object or location.
Okay.
Cool, actually.
Yeah.
So you look at it, and part of you is just like, why the thief? You draw into yourself and try to examine the history of this thief.
Mhm.
You're taken aback. You have visions of what you can only assume to be Bertrand. As you look through it through his eyes, you only are fixated on the cleaver. It's the only thing that you really see is the cleaver coming down and what it hits, and you see it cut off the head of a fish, cut off the head of a pig. This thing's not. It's not new to decapitating things.
Oh, yeah.
It is a cleaver. But one vision strikes you as interesting. As you're going through these visions, one of them plays out a little longer. You are not chopping anything. You are in motion, walking towards something. You see the window closed to your right as you approach the bed. Before you get raised in the air and get brought down against this new animal.
Mhm.
You are then hidden. But what you notice is that in that vision, at one point you were in utter darkness and you swore you could hear the echoes of water droplets, almost like a cave. And then you're brought back.
Interesting.
Are you alright, Joseph?
Yes, I simply did some investigation on the cleaver here.
Intriguing. What have you found?
Standard fare of it being used in cooking, but before it came to be used here, there was the sound of water, as if it was in a cave for some amount of time.
Immediately before the murder?
As far as you can tell.
Yes.
Perhaps a cellar?
Perhaps.
I have a few things that I've noticed myself that I want to look, one of which may be related to that, but I'll get to that one last, because it's the one that may take the longest. For now, I'll start with the desk and, well, in particular, the parchment on the desk, since that's kind of on top. I'm gonna hop up on the chair so I can see what I'm doing and take a look at the parchment.
It's a letter. And it reads as such. Dear Lord Graham, Alexis will be a fine wife and will bear you mighty children. These children will be well worth the aid you sent us during the war with the Varians. The debt will be paid, and we can continue to operate as equals with no debts between us. Sincerely, your future father-in-law, King Frederick Lewis.
Does this look freshly written? I think it was written last night.
No. It looks like he wrote it at one point, like within the past 2 days, but hasn't like sealed it, hasn't notarized it. It's like, all right, I've written the letter. Now I can worry about all the official nonsense later. Oh, I have this dinner to attend.
Yeah. Perhaps a long shot. I have proficiency in forgery kits. Can I examine this as whether I assume it's his actual writing if it's been sitting on the desk the whole time and he hasn't like thrown it away? But
Okay.
it's worth a check.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me that.
Yeah. Should I just roll like intelligence plus? Is it just the proficiency bonus?
It'd be intelligence and proficiency bonus.
That'd be plus 9. Okay. $18.
If it's a forgery, it's really good. You kind of go through, like, there's some other documents that are stacked of his, like, this is an official notice by the king. This has been, you take samples of his other writing. You could forge a letter with his writing. Not that that's what you're trying to do here, but as far as you can tell, the letter to Lord Gron is legitimate.
Okay. I will examine the drawers of the desk as well once I put everything else back in order.
Give me an investigation.
And tampered with.
Xavier, are you doing anything in...
For the most part, I am in thought, but I'm kind of looking around the room, occasionally eyeing the people that are still lingering, if any are.
They're kind of like, they want to help, but they don't know how. So you see, like, if you've ever been at like a scene of an accident, and there are people who's just like, I want to pick up something, like to help move it, or to like, I want to feel a part of the helping process, but I don't know how, and I don't. This is a murder scene. I don't want to touch anything, so they're all kind of like awkwardly shuffling about, moving their hands to. It's like, oh, let me help. Maybe I shouldn't. Or I guess you have that. Never mind. I won't go there. And I'd like you to state that number out loud for me, Zazie.
31.
Right. Mahogany desk.
Yeah.
Beautifully engraved. Probably made 30 years ago. Sanded down with a probably 200 grit sandpaper. That's not what's important.
That's fancy as hell in a medieval setting.
Yes, it is. It's expensive as all sin.
Mahogany.
What strikes you the most, though, is that as you go through, you pull through some of these drawers, and they've been rifled through, or he doesn't keep his drawers tidy, one of the two.
That is kind of likely, actually, but we're not going to make any assumptions.
But you pull on one, and it doesn't pull out as far, and then you realize there's a catch.
Huh.
And as you go to further, it's like, okay, what's stopping it? You find a trigger.
Interesting.
It's a little circle that seems to connect further into the desk. Little hoop, not circle. Ring.
Yeah. Is it something you like pull on?
If you pull on a little bit, it does have some give. So you imagine that it is something that you pull.
Yeah, I will do so.
Pull on it, and right where your hand is, a rolled up piece of paper falls into your hand.
Oh, what is this? So I'll take that out. Is it like tied together or is it just rolled?
It is sealed, but it has the king's seal on it. Do you open?
Oh, well, convene everyone else here. Well, I found something. This was hidden in a secret compartment within the drawer, or within the desk. It is sealed, and investigating it would require breaking the seal. Well, maybe. Can I fix that with mending?
Theoretically,
Huh.
You probably don't need magic considering that you have proficiency in forgery.
Yeah, you're not wrong, actually. Well, no one needs to know that. I'll still ask the question. Is it required breaking the seal, but it could provide valuable evidence, depending on what it is.
Well, it could be completely irrelevant.
It could be. But the one who was going to send it probably won't be sending it anyway.
Yeah. I suppose we can open it.
Yeah, I will very carefully open it, trying to damage it as little as possible in doing so.
Okay. It opens easily. It is a signed document. It is a formal decree disowning and disavowing Tabitha Louise from the Louise family line and royal family. All assets and access to the royal coffers is to be halted, and she is to be detained on site.
I'm gonna fucking take a note.
Oh. Are any of the kids still in here?
No, none of the kids are in the room.
Oh, okay. She's detained on site?
Yes, detained on site. All of you are in the room for that, and everyone's just like, shit. So you also get to hear that, Jorson.
Yeah.
Did the head guard leave with everybody else?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no guards here at the moment.
No.
The person here with Tabitha? I don't remember.
Yes, Jorson is.
Oh, okay.
Here, with an investigation of 31, you're going to make several assumptions and pick up on some logic because you fucking blew it out.
Okay.
If you wanted to be effective, it wouldn't be hidden in a desk.
Yeah.
You assume this is a contingency plan.
Yeah, like if something happens that he, like specific, that he is expecting but doesn't want.
This is does she do something that irreparably damages my reputation? Burn her.
Yeah.
We're done.
So this isn't a decree that he was like in the process of giving.
Yes.
It's something he was prepared to give if he decided to.
Correct. You also know with the 31, that's fucking cold.
That's fucking what?
Cold. It's cold as shit to do something like that.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A, that's his own fucking dog. B,
he's just like prepared to do that. Like he's already accepted that. Like, yep, gonna disown her.
Yeah. B, it's one thing to disown and like cut someone off from the family line, and it's like, okay, you don't have access to the royal coffers. For most lords and most political nations, that's usually enough, unless she did something that's like, we want her head.
Yeah.
Him was like detained on site is next level.
Yeah, because he's like fully expecting like that is gonna have to be his reaction, or he's gonna want it to be his reaction at the very least.
That, or it's just that's what he's hoping for. He's just like, I have an excuse now.
Yeah, he's just like waiting for the chance. They're waiting for a reason.
I think we need to act on this immediately.
Perhaps. I don't believe this was in the process of being sent out. Given where it was hidden, I believe it was a contingency plan in place or something. I don't know what. I don't know the king personally well enough to know exactly what it would be. It may not be something specific. It could just be if she damages his reputation too much. But he was absolutely ready to scorch earth about something.
Wow. I, to a degree, agree with your assessment on some points. I think it would be safe to say that Tabitha probably had an expectation of something like this floating around or being in the potential future.
Oh, I believe so too, given her
some
expertise.
pretty
damning evidence of motive, because it would very certainly behoove her to do it or have someone do it in her stead before he had the chance to send this. Because with 2 weeks left, who knows? Maybe he could have decided as a final fuck you.
I
Is
agree.
this how private is this conversation?
It's between you three and the two helpers. Marco, who's
Yeah, so
Cassandra's helper.
Dorson is literally just standing there, like arms crossed.
I like real talk. I'm pretty confident neither of these two guys were involved.
Hmm.
They seemed pretty innocent enough, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe they're just
They-
that good.
They're certainly strong enough. They probably could have pulled off the speeding force, but I don't know. I would be kind of shocked if it actually was one of them, if not both of them.
Speed, force, and accuracy.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to look into, or well, actually to remain on your point, I agree, and given that Tabitha's subtlety far exceeds her late father's, she probably knew of many of his plans before he enacted them.
Yes. I think the best thing to do is find out if this house has either cell or if we can figure something out for the time being to, as the letter suggests, detain her for the time that we continue the investigation to see if we can find any evidence that sticks or proves outright that she is the culprit or almost undeniably is the culprit.
Well, everyone is already detained, and I don't believe she's the only one with a motive.
My concern is if she is the guilty party, she's already killed one person. Who's to say she won't strike somebody else?
That's true.
Especially knowing of her skill set.
Yes. I think for the time being, though, if we don't have a way to detain her, we should probably not tell her that this was found. My apologies, Jorson. I know you work for her and are probably very close. She is a suspect at the moment, but not definitively our culprit at this stage of the investigation.
He gives a nod.
For now, though, I did want to look into something else, and I will. How high is that book on the shelf that was sticking off?
Higher than you can jump.
All right, I'm gonna send a mental command to Kaori, and the seal defender will walk inside, stand underneath that spot. She's medium sized, so I'll climb up onto her, stand on tiptoe, and grab the book and push or pull as needed to. I mean, partially kind of see if it's attached to anything.
You push and it starts to go in. You know, it's like, okay, maybe it's not a push, it's a pull. You pull, and poof, pops right out.
Let's see. I'll have to probably kind of clamber up there to look inside the spot. I believe, as I'm climbing up, there may be something strange about this wall. And bookcases are not uncommon ways to hide such things. The vanity, if you observe, is not actually touching the floor. So I believe it's only attached to the wall and meant to be able to move.
Said you opened.
And this book looked like it had been tampered with.
Did you open the book or anything?
Oh, not yet. I was just going to look in the space that it was in first while I'm up here.
It looks empty. Looks like a book was at one point all the way in there.
Oh, okay. I'll hop back down and then take a look at what this book actually is.
The cover is blank. Open it up. That's a blank page. That's a blank page. That's a blank page. And you start just kind of like going through it, and all of a sudden, like, it kind of just opens up to where it's been cut into. And
Oh, is this like hollowed out?
Yep. Portion of it is hollowed out, and inside you see a immaculate brass amulet. Do you have religion?
I don't have proficiency in it, but I do have a +5 to it. Just from intelligence.
Okay.
And 5e doesn't have like you can't roll on knowledge unless trained or anything
Yeah.
like that.
You can make the roll. The difference
But
is like,
I'll kind of hold it out and hold it up so everyone can see it.
does anyone have knowledge religion?
No, but I have a +4 to it, so I'm kind of in the same boat.
I got a total of 20.
20. So you hold it up and you show it off, and Lexington actually pipes in, and that's when you make the connection. That is the brass amulet to Xanathos, god of chaos. This is it's very ornate. It's this only high priests are given this.
Well, it was found here in this hollowed out book that was stored in your father's bookshelf.
This is Lexington, one of Alexander's compatriots, not Alexander himself.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. In the king's bookshelf.
That's heretical. I'm surprised you didn't touch that with your actual hands.
I've touched worse with my actual hands.
That's disgusting.
It's difficult to avoid in my line of work.
I suggest. You can't burn it. I shall.
Not every one of us gets weak in the knees at the mention of gods. Calm yourself, man. You look like a child about to wet himself.
And you look like a fool. That is an amulet to a god that only high priests have access to. He could call upon Xanathos. That's preposterous. I must
Glances over to the bed.
Yeah,
I don't think he's calling a god anytime soon. And that faith definitely didn't save him. So
I
suggest you take a breath.
I must go tell Alexander at once. I need our stock of holy water. We must drown it.
I'm surprised though. He didn't. I mean, this may be presumptuous, but he didn't really strike me as the high priest type.
Most high priests to the god of chaos are average people. The fact that he was a king is scandalous. I share a great love for Alexander and the position he holds. If the high prophets were to find out of such a thing, they'd strip him of his rank. He would no longer be held worthy to hold the Avenger in his hands. We must. But he has done so much good for the people. It's we cannot hold him to the crimes of his father. Like I said, I'm.
So what you're telling us is Alexander has motive.
I mean, that's. How dare you say such a thing?
Where am I wrong?
It's
I mean, if his father's choice of faith would really be damning to his own position, maybe it would behoove him to be the guilty party.
Preposterous. This is slander.
I'm sure it's as preposterous as thinking the king himself was a, as you said, heretic.
Being a skilled warrior as Alexander is, he would certainly have the ability to make such a cut.
Oh, certainly with a blade such as that. I mean, he himself confirmed it's a holy avenger.
You speak sacrilege at this point. I will not stand for it.
Well, I don't believe he did it with the Holy Avenger. And as said for Tabitha, he is simply a suspect and not our definitive culprit at this time.
Yes, it should be remembered that the cleaver is the sole murder weapon.
Yes. As I said, take a breath. You're behaving like a child.
And in the event that Alexander did not commit this murder, it would be best for him if his superiors did not learn of his father's faith. Wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, you are correct, but I do believe that such a relic should be drowned in the holy waters. So, do not mind. I'd like to inform Alexander that I need our stuff.
For the time being, I must ask that we do not tamper unduly with any evidence found during this investigation. But afterward, you may do with it what you wish.
Give me a persuasion. If someone wishes to assist, you can get advantage.
Not me. I've been A, I'm not good at it. B, I've not been as helpful.
Do
I've got-
I have to use persuasion to assist?
No, you are just you are giving the help action.
Yeah. 5e, you just decide you help.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'll help.
The
I'm going to be standing there, a little imposing. in a way.
menacingly.
Yeah, it's not
He's
like
not
I'm
really
being
there.
like physically confrontational, but there is a slight shift in posture and gaze. And I will kind of echo, believe we really must insist.
Get the advantage. Is that a default bonus?
Nope.
Oof. He ignores you and walks out, grumbling the entire time.
Sir, the amulet itself is not alive. Not take any actions to harm us. I'm gonna try to kind of hold it away from him, but I'm really small, so it's not gonna get that much further away.
He doesn't take it from you. He's just going to get holy water.
Oh, I thought you said he walks up, not off.
No, he walks
Oh,
off.
I do still. I kind of shout that after him instead of.
He has the Zenithos has eyes everywhere. It's best to remember that. And now he's shouting that. So now everyone in the house hears that.
So much for control of information.
Quite a defensive one he is.
Of course.
Very often, faith is used as a shield where when you find guilt.
I
And a weapon, just as often.
do thoroughly enjoy the fact it's just like they all made investigative characters. Are any of them going to be faces?
Haha, no.
I mean, by nature, I'm a good liar. I can be persuasive.
A good liar, you say?
Well, I mean, compared to my other charisma skills, it's the higher one. I mean, I have like a +7 to deception. I wouldn't.
I figured that.
Yeah, I'm
my
not
master
like
thing.
god tier at it. It's just
Yeah.
I am good at it. I am definitely more of the. I mean, I'll punch you and we'll see how you feel about it afterwards. If it really needs to be some
Needs some
convincing
time.
happening.
Yeah.
And just as a note, for the most part, like there will be certain situations where I won't allow the help action for it, but unless it's a knowledge skill, like knowledge skills is where I like, do you have proficiency in it? No, then you're probably just going to be spouting off old wives' tales, and that's not helpful for scientific reasoning.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, now that our disturbance is left for the time being, I suggest we examine the vanity, given its strange.
Yes, we should keep an eye on Alexander. Oh, right. The actual. Yes. Okay, I understand.
Da 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 da. So you approach the vanity.
Yeah.
You
hop down off this chair and walk over to
yeah, it's
the pipe as I go.
probably about half an inch off the ground.
Oh, okay. This is like kind of noticeably up there.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
it like hanging on the wall?
Yeah, it's hanging on the wall.
Okay.
It's a half inch off the ground, which for the most, like, if you walk into a room, half an inch is just like, is that noticeable? I mean,
Maybe.
In a well lit room, you could definitely notice it. In a medieval manor where the only source of light is either the magical light spells that folks have access to, or oil lamps and torches, probably could just be seen as a trick of the light.
Yeah.
However, you are a crack detective.
I'm also
30
very
fucking 1 to see shit. Nothing is hidden from you.
I'm also very close to the ground.
Fair. But yeah.
Oh, do you want me to roll again about the vanity, or should I?
No, you just see that it's off the wall. At this point, how do you want to approach trying to see why it's like you can see that it's hung off the wall. There's probably a purpose for it. You need to figure out how to do that. If you want to give a roll for investigation or thieves' tools.
Probably investigation first, just to kind of take a look at it. Look at I assume it has drawers and stuff on it.
Yep.
Stuff that moves. Yeah, I'll kind of examine it very similarly to the desk now that I know that, like, there was a catch in a drawer there. Maybe the construction for this is similar. Does it seem to be made by the same designers?
This one, well, let's see that investigation check, and I can give you detailed history.
Oh, right. 23.
23. Not as well informed about this kind of desk and this woodwork. Looks probably like it was a painted white oak, but otherwise it's unimpressive vanity mirror. But as you go through it, you go to one of the desk's drawers, you pull it out, and once again, it seems like it's shorter than it should be, or more shallow than the rest of the drawers. Like the drawer itself is probably 2 to 3 inches thick, but when you pulled it out, there's maybe 1.5 inches of space. So you start feeling underneath it, you don't find anything, and then you reach behind where the drawer sits, and you feel a chain, a little stick on the end.
I think I found. So, can I gently pull on that?
You pull on it, and you hear a number of locks unlock, and the door start to drift forward towards you as it swings open. And the smell of a damp, hidden pathway. It's like there's mold everywhere in there.
This must have been where they came from.
Did, like, the whole vanity swing forward, or?
Yes, the whole vanity and part of the wall it's attached to swings forward.
Okay. I believe I found our cave that Orson mentioned.
Yes.
It is dark as fuck.
Well, I'll go first. I will slip into the passage.
You have night vision, right? Dark vision.
Yes, I can see in the dark.
It is a stairwell that leads down, probably a good 30 feet. So it goes, technically speaking, underneath the house.
Okay.
And then there it turns into a corridor that turns to the right.
Okay, and I'm just gonna keep following it.
Okay. Who else goes down?
It leads.
I will also go down, but first I will be drinking my night eye mutagen.
Gotcha.
I am a deep gnome, so I have 125 dark vision.
You mean cat's eye? What?
I'm just gonna whip out like a small little vial.
It's actually called Night
Chug
Eye.
it. It's actually called night eye. Yeah.
I was making a Witcher reference.
I know. The mutagens is close. We can only do
Yeah,
so
It's
much.
basically Order of the Witcher. Let's be honest.
That's why.
Yeah. It looks like fun.
And then my eyes just like glow a dull red.
Marco looks to you and sees that your eyes light up. Was like, can you share some of that? I can't quite see.
I just hard stare at him with those eyes. No. And then I go.
It's kind of dick. Oh, he could have just said no. He had
Did
to.
just say no?
He had to stare at me. He had to stare me down. Feel threatened. The dick. And he will slowly make his way down the stairs, despite the fact he cannot see. Going down the stairs and going off to the right, Xavier, you are in the lead. You turn the corner and you start walking further along, and it opens up into a room.
Okay.
Inside this room is a large brass statue of what you assume to be an imp.
Okay.
Zazzy, I have a question.
I may have an answer.
How long does that magnifying glass?
Oh, let me see. I believe it just casts the true seeing spell, so I need to look up the duration for that. What is it? True seeing or true sight? I can never remember what's
I think
actually
it's
called.
true sight.
Yeah, not true seeing, technically.
Or well, there's the true sight. I think is the quality. I think true seeing might be the spell. Ah, it is. Let's see. It lasts for an hour. Oh, that's a lot longer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a minute.
you come down here, and turn this open up.
Oh, sorry. It says for the next 10 minutes I have true sight out to 120 feet. It doesn't cast the spell. So it lasts for 10 minutes. So it might be gone by now, but I mean, I'll probably use it again once we're in a new place that's really relevant.
Okay.
It does have limited charges though, so I'm not gonna.
That's fair. So you'd be seeing this as you got down, trying to fight with some of my fucking shit, and I'm getting upset. I'm sorry.
Fighting with what?
I'm trying to mess with something I have set up. But as you come down here, you're starting to. Your true sight is probably going to be leaving you here in a little bit as investigation takes some time to thoroughly investigate everything, especially with how well you are rolling. You're very detailed. Something you do notice though is there's the statue. Yes, that's the thing that you see. You see a creature drifting through the room towards the statue.
I'll look through the lens, move the lens. I assume I don't see it when I'm not looking through it.
Correct.
Alright, there is some form of creature drifting toward the statue. Is it, I don't know if I can tell with true seeing, but is it invisible or is it on the ethereal plane?
It's on the ethereal.
Okay. Something on the ethereal plane.
Can you tell what it is?
Can I tell what it is?
Give me give me a knowledge arcana, or you said you don't have religion, but you can make the religion check if that is equivalent.
I can also just describe it, and then I assume Orson would know.
You could. It is looks to be some sort of spirit clad in like the tatters of some sort of robes. They look like religious robes, but your religion isn't your forte. If Lexington was here, he could probably identify it like that, but not the case. It looks like an old warrior, but it's dressed in what probably was once fine robes and ordained with symbolism that you don't really recognize or understand.
It doesn't even match the deal.
I mean, maybe a few of them look like they might. But it's a little rough. Like I said, the clothing's in tatters.
Oh.
But you described this to Jorson. Jorson, if you would love to make a check on history with advantage in regards to monsters.
Excellent. I too like understanding big monster.
Eidolon.
$25.
What Zazie just described sounds like an eidolon. These were probably at one point sacred priests to dark gods. And knowing it's an eidolon, you know it's going for that statue to occupy it and animate it.
All right. Well, I'm going to immediately kick into fight mode. Draw, at least with my sword for now. No, my hammer, because bludgeoning. And let the others know by yelling, destroy the statue, quick.
And I say with that, we'll roll initiative.
Alrighty then.
I'm glad we're still underground, because this would suck otherwise.
Still technically not occupying the statue, we will use its stats to start. This could be over in a single round, or it could not.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't believe I have a way to affect something that's ethereal, so...
Same?
Huh.
I am not a ghost slayer.
Nope, I'm not adding 63 to his initiative. As funny as that would be. Well, I imagine this would be over in a single round.
Thank God I have a good modifier. I
Well,
almost didn't go before him.
you rolled a 25, so I'll give you its damage immunities. Cold, necrotic, and poison.
Oh, excellent.
Can we actually see it now? Or...
He shouts, and that's when it becomes visible. That's why we're
Okay.
going to. And it's for that reason, at the start of each person's turn, I'd like them to make a wisdom saving throw. But as it stands, we have 2 10s, so the two of you can either decide who goes first, or we can go based off each other's dexterity. Up to the two of you.
Pretty sure his dexterity is better. And I'm fine with that.
Yes, I have +5.
Which one of you has the better wisdom save, though?
Mine is +2, and if it's against magic, it's at advantage.
Oh,
It's a ghost, so it's probably magic.
yeah.
Check some things real quick.
Gnomes are really underrated, by the way. Like, that's just a racial thing for gnomes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just
Yeah.
advantage on mental saves
Yeah.
against magic.
They don't add anything to the lore.
Deep gnomes are also like fucking baller, honestly.
Favorite gnomes, at least.
So if you guys want to do it off of dex, that's rough.
Yeah.
You are frightened for 1 minute.
Cool.
While frightened this way, you must take the dash action and move away from the Eidolon by the fastest available route at the start of each of your turns, unless there is nowhere for you to move, in which case you become stunned. So you're going to take the dash action away, so you run past Marco.
No.
No.
Going to use stillness of mind. So my main action, I will essentially be focusing and then be removing or ending an effect on myself that is causing me to be charmed or frightened.
Okay. Marco's initiative.
Oh, nice.
Way to go, Marco. So that's your action.
Yeah. Can I still do my bonus action?
Yes.
So I am going to do Kung Fu. Just double check my questions. Do I want to spend a key point here? Oh, I can't do Flurry of Blows because I didn't take an attack action. Does cues? Where is it? I'm blind. I'm losing my mind. Oh yeah, never mind. I can't. All I actually realize all of my extra attacks as a monk is dependent on me actually making my primary action and attack action.
Yep.
That's an ooh.
It's
Yeah.
the big
Rough,
downside
buddy.
for monks.
Yeah, so never mind.
On the bright side, you have like 13 bone reactions.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you become immune to that effect for like a day if you
Yes.
pass the save again? Well,
If a target saving throw or the effect ends for it, the target is immune to any of the Eidolon's divine dread for the next 24 hours.
I'll just that at least.
Hmm.
All right, so I had nothing. So whoever's next.
I'll be Cindrah. Sassy. detective. Esquire. Well, that's a lawyer. Never mind, you're not a lawyer. Not yet.
That's true. Okay. I will. I actually question because this is a. It was a optional class feature from Tasha's. For rogues, it's steady aim. As a bonus action, you can give yourself advantage on your next attack roll in the current turn. But only if you haven't moved this turn, after which your speed becomes 0 till the end of the current turn.
Well, let's see if you pass the Divine Dread.
Oh, true. Okay, we'll do that first.
Yeah.
But that is an optional rule that I forgot to ask about.
That's fine.
Okay.
Think about my next one shot being a League of Legends one shot. Well, not one shot precisely, but like a 3-parter.
It
I'd
could be
be
a
for that.
not. It could be a long-term thing.
When we finish
Wouldn't that be
Shadowrun
cool?
first, then we can talk. Fucking natural 20. Oh.
22.
I've seen scarier things in the darkness. The deep,
We're in
deep
the dark.
darkness.
Out on the mean streets of Staniska.
Yep. No, you don't give a fucking adorable. It thinks it's scary. Natural fucking 20.
Ha. Okay, so he's at steady aim, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll reach into my coat to what seems to be an underarm holster. Or well, I'll put my pipe away, pull out a small, apparently hand crossbow that's folded up, like the arms are folded against it, and there are 4 of them. When activated, they will unfold into an X pattern sort of floating in front of it. No string or anything, just kind of an aura of energy. And aim it at the creature. Take just the briefest moment to take aim before firing. A bolt of solidified energy.
Flame. Alaka Blame.
Yes. Oh my god, where's my actions page? Okay. Not right. Okay, a 19 to hit.
19 will hit.
Okay. It deals 1d6 plus 5 damage, and I have 5d6 of sneak attack.
You had advantage. Technically speaking, sneak attack will trigger here.
Yeah, I believe I have 5d6. Let me check to make sure. I think it comes at odd levels. I haven't played a rogue in a very long time. Yeah, 5d6. So 66 plus 5 total damage. Got 25 damage.
And that is what damage type?
Piercing.
Piercing? Okay. But it is magical. It's arcane.
It is a magical weapon.
Okay, so yeah.
So what it does, basically, it's the what is it? Repeating shot infusion. So it's
Okay.
It's a +1 weapon that doesn't require loading.
Yeah. Ignores
That's
the
just how it-
loading property.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The big thing is that it does that it is a magical weapon.
Yes.
So it is not ready to take 25 damage to the spine as you shoot it. It turns and hisses at you. You step upon Zenithus' holy ground! But it doesn't get to act because it rolled shit for initiative, so we're gonna give it over to our resident monster slayer.
I step upon whichever ground I wish from the course of an investigation, and also on my initiative count, my Kaori, my steel defender, will advance upon the creature. I didn't give her any commands, but she can move and do reactions by herself, so she'll move adjacent to, like, between it and the rest of us, and take the dodge action.
Gotcha. So,
All right.
this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not high enough level that I get advantage on this yet, but let's see. 6 for not freaking out.
You freak out.
F.
You now frightened.
Let me double check that there's not something that helps me there. Nope. Nope. That doesn't. Did not permit do one of those infusions. Yeah, no, I'm fucked.
Your next action is dash action. You run past Marco.
Yep.
Bonus action is wasted. You get to at the end of your turn. You get to attempt to save again.
That's real. Oof.
You only get to add +1 to it. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, man. Wisdom is not one of my stats, and everything that I get buffed is like related to either something physical or intelligence.
But yeah, go ahead and repeat the save to see if you can break out of it.
Oh, that's at the end of the turn?
Yep.
Oh, that was at the beginning. Okay.
End of the turn.
Ha! No.
Still fucking terrified.
Yeah, yep.
It's the
Fuck
end of
me,
turn.
I guess.
They're brutal if you don't pass it on that first. Even if you pass, it still takes the turn that you were on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Eidolon makes it to the statue. 40-foot fly speed. It's not that big a room. He was trying to get there all sneaky, beaky like and ambush you guys, but it got spotted.
Can
Yeah,
my Seal
man.
Defender make an attack of opportunity? Or is it still within
It can't.
attack range? Okay. Let's see. Gotta look at its stat block. It's like hidden because it's in my features and traits rather than.
Yeah.
Put it in just.
They should have that be a separate box, but.
Yeah, it has Force Empowered Rend, so it's a melee attack.
Sacred
my spell
Statue.
attack modifier to hit, reach 5 feet. D8 plus proficiency bonus force range. Okay, where's my spell attack modifier? Go for my spells. Okay, so it's +5. Okay, 12.
12 will hit.
Okay. I think it was D8 plus my proficiency bonus. Gotta go all the way back over to its thing. Yeah, D8 plus my proficiency bonus. Plus, shit, I don't remember what it is. I think it's +4. Yeah, okay. Alright, 6 force damage.
Alright. Still makes it to the statue, unless for some reason your thing has Sentinel.
No, it doesn't. That would be amazing. Holy shit.
Yeah, imagine having free feet.
Yeah, no kidding. Makes it to the statue and was that its action? Nope, it is not. It's not even an action. It just happens. Makes it a sacred statue, and the bronze statue comes to life as a large construct. And it's going to lumber forward to go up to the Steel Defender. It is going to do 2 slam attacks.
Oh, bye, Steel Defender.
No, please, she's innocent of these crimes. Alright, her AC is somewhere.
It's something, all right.
Let's see if she's got any resistances or anything. Let's see, immune to poison, charmed, exhaustion, and the poisoned condition. Nope, no damage resistances.
Alright, does 13 hit? The steel
No.
defense. It does not. Alright, we'll try to hit again. Does 16 hit?
Yes, it does. By 1, AC 15.
Does a bunch of damage.
No.
35 points of damage.
You say 35?
Yep.
Holy shit. Yeah, she's got 22 HP, so she is just completely smashed.
Steel Defender is offline.
Yeah, because it is possible to repair, I assume she's not, like, completely
No.
shattered everywhere.
She's not like, had that done 40-something damage, it was twice as much HP as your Steel Defender has,
Yeah.
then we'd be talking about completely broken, but that was just enough to
Yeah.
put it unconscious.
Make it unfunctional.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
disabled, but it tanked 2 attacks. So
Yeah, that's a lot of damage to not hit other people, and that's Steel Defenders are built for that, and they can be fixed.
60-12 damage plus 4 is the damage it puts out. So you want to put this down fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only we had been able to make will saves.
We go to Marco. How'd Marco do on his test? Not great. He's gonna run past you there, Jorson.
Yeah.
Just barely comes short of not being able to snap out of it. Still freaking out. Top of the initiative. Xavier, you got you're back in action.
All right. So 2 questions.
Yes,
We're doing flanking to get advantage, right?
absolutely. I don't.
Follow-up question. I kind of assumed, I didn't think to clarify until now. Unarmed strike, can it sneak attack?
I mean, yes. Like, just fucking. Are you gonna like judo chop it in the neck? Is that?
Yeah, its rules is written. You can't. But
Because, fuck
that's
monks.
fucking stupid.
Yeah, rules is written you can't, but it's also really cool to be able to do it, so and doesn't
Yeah.
really change anything mechanically since your monk damage can be like identical by just having a weapon. Because of how monk weapons work.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
But
think the
it's
idea
a flavor
behind
thing.
it is it's just like, oh, unarmed strikes aren't like lethal weapons until you're a fucking monk who can literally punch ghosts. No,
Yeah, when you're a monk, I feel like it's just like
if you do something that gives you scaling damage with your fucking fists, sneak attack applies because you know what you're
adding, like,
doing.
pressure.
Okay. So in fucking page, please. Oh my god, what the fuck? My browser's fucking please. God has left this place.
Everybody in New is being a bit weird too.
No, it's my web browser itself is being funky. It like suddenly snapped my thing to the whole screen, and then the tab wouldn't go back into place, and it was being fucky. All right. In that case, assuming I can do it with my 50 cough movement speed,
Yes.
I will move around to be flanking the statue. And I'm going to do some sick martial arts. Where's my fucking roll? Fuck. I'm a mess right now. Oh, actually, I need to do the 2d20 plus 9, keep 1. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, okay. Okay, so 27 to hit.
Let's see. Yes, you hit.
And then, so that's gonna be. Oh my god! All right, doing this with a dice bot is a little bit more cumbersome.
Sorry.
You know what? Let's do this. Would you? Is it advantage for every hit from flanking?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's make life a little easier. So I have my 2 regular ones. And then would an 18 hit?
18 does not hit.
Okay, so 1 hit so far. I will spend a point of key and do 2 more attacks for my bonus action.
Okay.
I'm just totaling up how many hits I'm actually doing, and then I'll just roll my damage altogether. A 29, and that's actually a 20. So
It's nat 20. All right, so you get the crit on that.
That's so 1 hit, 1 crit, and then a 27, which hits.
Absolutely.
So 2 hits, 1 crit. So we'll do the crit first. So that'll be 2d8. Does the base number also get doubled?
No.
No. Okay.
No, not in
It's been
5e.
so long since I've actually had to worry about a crit in 5th.
On the bright side, don't have to confirm them.
So
Get that 20, you win it.
wait. Do sneak attack damage dice crit?
They do.
No. What?
Yeah.
They do.
You double those?
Double them. That's why Assassin is disgusting, because it's an auto crit and auto sneak attack if you're before your opponent.
So
I didn't know that.
I will use my sneak attack on that hit then. And then so that'll be 2d6, but actually 4d6. Yeah, okay. So that'll be 34 bludgeoning damage. And my attacks do count as magical.
Yeah, I know.
And then I have my other 2 hits, which are just going to be a regular d8 plus 5. So I'll just roll those together as 2d8 plus 10. And that's another 17 bludgeoning. And yeah, that'll be my turn.
Okay, real quick. The +5. Oh no, your 2 extra ones are the ones that. Okay, no, never mind.
Yep.
Just trying to make sure that you didn't cheat yourself. That was 51 damage in a single turn from your mom.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. Well,
Bad addition, you can't sneak attack on every hit.
Yeah.
So jacked its shit. That takes us to Zazie. This thing looks brutalized.
Oh, I bet. Give me just 1 second.
Not a problem.
Went full standing here.
That's pretty fucking scary.
Yep. Okay.
That's why I typically look at monks and go, I need you to fucking not.
Right.
Which it makes me laugh every time I hear people talk about it. It's like, oh, in 5e, monks are garbage. Obviously, you are on this side of the screen.
It's not that they're garbage per se. It's they could honestly benefit from a little bit more flexibility.
They could, because
Like the whole you have to take an attack action to get your like martial arts bonus action or flurry of blows is kind of cursed.
yeah,
Amongst other things, of
that's
course.
generally why I see with like any power builds is they dip enough into fighter to sit there and pick up action surge. It's like, oh, did I lose my first action because I had to break out of a thing? Oh no, action surge.
Yeah. I think another thing is like they could probably, and it probably wouldn't make them disgusting. They could probably benefit from having the martial arts hit die improve a little bit more and have it end on a D12, so it shifts up in damage a little bit faster.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the subclass you go, their flexibility increases, but not dramatically that I've seen. All in all, I think monks
It's
are
more about just the turn structure flexibility.
Yeah.
Because like pretty much being married to I have to make an attack action to actually like play my class essentially, it's kind of fucked.
I would
Alright, I'm back.
welcome back. I'd like to
Sorry
see a little bit of drop in their action utility to give bonus actions a little bit more love. Because, you know, being stunning striked every fucking start of a fucking round isn't obnoxious. Because the way stunning strike works, it's like, cool, you're stunned until the end of my next turn.
Yeah.
Yes, you can stun lock.
Yeah. Oh, a key point. Stop. Key point. Stop. Key point. Fuck off!
Okay. I'll do much the same as before, keeping my crossbow level forward, rotating it to where the statue is. The the limbs of the crossbow will rotate around and generate a new bolt of energy before firing it into the creature. For a 24 to hit.
Hits.
What was my bonus again? I do the same aim thing on my bonus action as well.
Okay.
Which is why I had advantage. +5. Oh. Let's see. 26 piercing damage.
So, here's what happened this.
Yeah.
You see Xavier crouch and rush in behind it and dent the brass, which you thought was maybe hollow, until you heard their fists connect, and on one of them just sinks it right into the stomach of this imp-looking bronze statue and dents it in heavily. You believe that you see that it's like it's glowing a little bit, like it was heated up. And you're like, well, obviously I can get through that now because it's now softened up.
Yeah.
Crouch
Apologies,
down.
that is
Yeah, you get a little bit lower.
Damage.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I said apologies, that was 1 more damage. I hadn't hit the attune button on it and gotten the +1 to hit.
Oh. But you crouch down a little bit lower, and you go, oh, wait a minute. Yes, okay, here we go. And then you fire right into that dent, and, like, it buckles even further to the point where you see it shred open. And that's when you find out that that's solid brass. It's not hollow.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's a slime attack that does 60-12. If that thing's fucking hollow, then I am the Queen of England.
Also,
Oh.
Xavier hits really hard.
Elizabeth, I didn't realize you were here.
Ah, yes.
Hey, didn't know you played D&D. That's cool.
Oh.
It tries to keep itself standing, but it can't quite do it. The metal starts to bend, and you hear metal tearing. And now, the Eidolon reappears in front of you as the statue crumples to the ground.
All right, we've weakened it, but it's still here. And that is my turn.
That takes us to the Monster Hunter.
Who is forced to run?
Hunt that monster.
Yep, you run even further.
Yep.
Make that save.
I love Saver Sucks. Nope. 3.
You fail.
At least like
I'll see
everything in
you.
5e.
I'll see you next year.
Feels like everything in 5e has you make a save every turn,
Yeah.
I mean,
which is annoying from the player side when you're casting spells because stuff tends to have better saves.
Yeah, and it's annoying from this player side of receiving spells because you don't.
I mean, it's better than.
But you still have the option to do it every turn though, or like previously you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah, in previous editions, it's like, oh, you failed? Cool. That's a minute that you'll never get back in that character's life.
Yeah. A lot of the time, at least. Not every time.
Not every time, but a lot of the time it was just get fucked.
Yeah.
Because fuck you in playing the game.
Yeah.
The Eidolon is not super happy, but doesn't have a lot of tricks.
It didn't show up super happy, so that's whatever.
It's gonna try to fucking beat it. It's headed towards the wall behind you, Xavier.
Just beat it.
So you're saying it's running past me?
I am, and you have a reaction. Ghost Puncher.
No, take my freebie attack. 20. Oh, do I count as having advantage for this?
No, because you'd be moving out of flanking.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. A 16, I'm assuming, doesn't get me there.
20. It's +9. I'm looking at that 16.
Oh, I looked at the wrong number.
The 16 would have got you there, though.
25. Yeah. Okay. Fucking Jesus Christ. And my 1d8 +5 for another 9 damage.
You punch it and it dissipates.
Fuck, like the bronze statue actually just fucking goes.
No, this is the ghost. The bronze statue.
Oh, I understand now. Okay, I got you. All right.
Disintegrate the statue.
Yeah, I was like, in my head, the statue was playing. It was like, what? It's hard, but I didn't know it was that hard.
By the way, anyone at WotC, that is considered a hard encounter.
CR is bullshit. More at 11.
Yes.
I mean, it would have been harder if less of us had managed to succeed our will save.
Well, it was balanced for a 3-person fight. Which, with a DC 15, it assumes that only one of you failed, which in reality you did. Players smoked it. If XP mattered, each one of you would gain 8,410 XP. Oh, I'm sorry. No, my mistake. That is the adjusted XP of what it's actually worth because it had the sacred statue there, which is a CR0. Makes the total fight worth 12,615. So I think, technically speaking, I'm supposed to divide that up by 3, which is 400 something experience.
That's about right.
It's a lot at this level or not. I haven't played with XP in a really long time.
Yeah, I don't have a frame of reference because
Uh,
it's been a while.
well,
Because honestly, Milestone is just better.
it is. I will argue that every day of my life.
Mhm.
You'll win
Mm.
because it's correct.
But if some people like it certain ways, some people like to see the numbers go up. It's like the dragon that hoards gold.
Yeah.
But the fight's over. Initiative is over, and you and Marco are no longer frightened, as the thing that was causing it is dead again.
We're dead. I'll let out a breath
Re-dead?
and then just like hold the crossbow up, kind of in like a relaxed, like pointing up position as the arms fold back down. All right, wonderful job, everyone. That was unexpected.
And to get from from level 12 to level 13, it's 120,000 experience.
Yeah, see, so 8,000, not much.
It's like
Been a
8,000.
noticeable piece, but not like nothing, not like a ton.
Yeah.
All right, then it would seem the king had a secret shrine of sorts, perhaps. Is everyone all right, by the way?
Uh,
A little annoyed, but fine.
you notice that your steel defender is not all right.
Yeah. I'll walk over to her and cast Mending. I'll crouch down and hold my hands over her that emanate a soft glow. You see, I think it says in the defender stat block how much it gains from that.
Dare you make mending worth it?
Yeah. Okay, let's see. If the mending spell is cast on it, it regains 2d6 hit points. If it has died within the last hour, you can use your Smith's Tools as an action to revive it, provided you're within 5 feet. Then you expend a spell slot at first level or higher. Seal Defender returns to life after 1 minute with all its hit points restored. Oh, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Give me just 1 minute. I need to repair my creation. So I'll pull out a set of tools and begin working on it. And there definitely seems to be magic involved. It goes back together like remarkably well.
I am going to examine the room.
Investigation.
Yeah, I'm going to return and investigate.
Marco follows you, a bit embarrassed.
I look grumpy than usual.
I got
Six.
a 10.
A 10.
Yep.
I got a 13.
Sorry, closing some of my stuff. With a 13 and a 10, you don't think this was a shrine. It looks like he kept this here probably for religious reasons, but he didn't worship it or use it as a tool of worship. It looked like just another tool, but otherwise it's not very remarkable in this room.
Okay.
Just let me know how long it takes to fix it.
You do know that the ground is kind of soft in here. You don't believe that it's it's like damp earth. It's not concrete.
Okay. Where I'm assuming this chamber leads somewhere.
Yes, there is another corridor that leads further below the house, but probably will go back up eventually, you imagine.
Delightful. Once she's got her demonic machine thing working, we'll start heading down that corridor then.
I'll sit there and hum as I put the Guardian back together.
Demonetized. No.
So yeah, once about a minute has passed, I put my tools away as the glow returns to the fox, and she gets back up and kind of shakes off, give her a pat on the head. There, good as new.
Accepts the pats gracefully.
Excellent. All right, shall we investigate this other passageway?
Nah. So I'll start heading down there.
Marco grabs the head of the brass imp and is just like, I think this might be evidence. If the amulet's evidence, this is probably it. Right?
I
Right?
would leave it there for now. We don't want the other guy to actually soil his pants.
Mm. It's
Yeah.
also inert now without the Eidolon to pilot it.
All right.
Given that there is another passageway extending past here, and this doesn't seem to be a room for worship, as you said, I must assume that it was used as a guardian for wherever this leads. It's certainly no simple decoration.
Well, I think it's safe to say it was a guardian to the passage that led to the bedroom.
Can I get knowledge religion from people?
Either way could be true.
I can try it. I don't have ranks in it, but I can try it.
Give you layman's religion.
It's understandable. I think if I were commissioning my house to be built and wanted a secret passage going to my room from somewhere else in the house, I would want something to protect myself from others trying to pass through it to get to
Oh,
me.
sorry, I put in the wrong number. It should be 10.
Oh, I got a 9.
Okay. 9 and 10. It's like obviously you believe it's connected to his faith, but you don't know really why he'd have it down here. With a 19, you believe this to be a religious guardian that he could make sacrifices to have it do his bidding.
So I've seen something similar back in my training days some time ago. He very likely made sacrifices to this thing.
Oh, what kinds of sacrifices?
Well, generally, when you sacrifice something, especially to the god of chaos, it's probably going to involve blood. But I don't know. He could have sacrificed something else. It could have been, I don't know, mementos, but it probably living things, if not people.
I'll look around at the room to see if there's any evidence of blood spilled here that might not have been completely cleaned up.
Going to be that investigation.
$29.
I mean, looking through the room, you see tons of footprints. There's signs of battle. There's that it's chaos. If there was any evidence in this room not linked to the statue, it's probably destroyed or covered up. That being said, you do find a kriss at the foot of where the statue was stained. It is stained with blood, but it's a light amount of blood. Probably self-sacrifice, you would think.
Jorson, what you did with the cleaver before, are you able to do that here too?
Very likely. I will go and grim psychometry on it.
Make a roll.
Wow, fuck me today, I guess. 9. Rolled
Damn.
a 2 and a 1.
Pick it up in your hand and try to focus in on it. And you hear something. Not today, little hunter. And you feel cut go across your the palm of your hand. It's not from the knife, but because you didn't hold it that close to your palm, but there is a gash running the length of your palm. You just instinctively drop the knife.
I kind of like growl, grunt, groan, low, angry hunter noises.
Whoa, what was that?
No one else heard.
Oh, I mean, after like seeing him do that.
Oh,
After seeing me drop it. It appears there's a force that is displeased with me looking into this.
Well, that's certainly a cause for concern. Has that ever happened to you before? While using that
On
ability?
occasion.
Does it generally only happen with creatures of significant power?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Out of character, I couldn't hear. What was that?
Does it generally only happen with creatures of significant power?
Generally, only creatures with significant power have the ability to perform such tasks.
In that case, we should be cautious as we move forward.
Alternatively, it may be somehow intrinsically linked to this, and thus able to share its will more easily, despite power or lack thereof.
Perhaps. Suffice to say, the Chris evidence as well, but we should leave it here with the rest of the scene that goes with it for further exam if need be.
Mm.
Well,
And I'll take a look around the room. And I will know if any of it is tampered with.
okay.
What were you about to say there?
say my audio was a little fucky wucky. Are we in the next room?
No, we were just about to get there. They were examining
okay.
a few other items.
There. Yeah, I'm good then.
All right. As you guys follow it up, you guys get to a stairwell where it leads up.
Okay.
Follow it up, and there is a lever.
Let me in.
Pull the lever, Frank.
Yep.
And a door swings open, leads into the kitchen. You see Bertrand Kane standing there, seemingly chopping vegetables up and putting it in a stew next to two guards. When he sees that open, he's like, "Oh, how'd you get in here? What is that? Well, how? What?
You trying to tell me you don't know there's a secret passageway in your kitchen?
No!
How long have you been working here?
20 years?
Inside.
Roll it.
Same.
Roll it.
Actually, I should look at my features and stuff to see if there's... Because I know insight is a focus of the Inquisitor Rogue, but I don't know if it gives me bonuses to it that I just haven't been paying attention to.
24.
Ear for deceit. Whenever I make an insight check to determine whether a creature is lying, treat a roll of 7 or lower on the d20 as an 8.
Huh.
Okay. Interesting.
God damn. I'm just counting, apparently.
You are.
26.
11 You don't know. Could be lying. Seems honest. 24-26. That's significantly high enough for me to say he knew there was something up with that location, but had the wherewithal to, I'm not going to touch that. That's where my spice cabinet is. I go over there for my spices. I close it. I walk away.
I'm going to walk up to him into his personal bubble. I'm not going to like lean over him or anything, but I'm going to be a presence. And where's your butcher's cleaver?
Don't know.
Your cleaver that you use.
Yes,
in your kitchen.
I put it in the sink for the maids to sit there and clean.
Certainly. And where is it now?
I do not know. I'd love to know. I've been stuck cutting beef and lamb with this shitty bread knife. You look off to the right, there is a bread knife covered in blood next to the not remains of a lamb or a sheep, but like where obviously he was trying to carve a piece of meat.
So you were aware of this passageway, and your knife was conveniently set aside for the night.
I did not know it was a passageway. I knew that it gave me the creeps. Thought I heard someone whisper from it at one point.
You were aware that somebody could access it and be inside.
I mean...
And the murder weapon happened to be set aside, easily accessible.
How about I ask you this question? If I did use my cleaver to kill the king, why would I not?
I didn't say you used your cleaver.
Why would I not have
you
it brought
set
back
it
here?
aside separately where it was accessible near the passageway that happens to lead to the king's chamber.
I am sorry that I keep my knives in the kitchen.
It's not about it being in the kitchen.
Anyone
it's about
can
it
walk.
being easily accessible.
It belongs in the kitchen. That's where a knife belongs. I didn't know there was a secret passage.
How much stuff did you leave in the sink for the maids to clean?
Plenty. Plates. Everyone's silverware. The wine glasses. All my ladles, my spoons, my knives.
And how much of that was finished before you called it a night?
All of it was missing. All of it seemed put away.
Except for the knife.
Didn't think anyone would steal my knife with my name written on it.
Is there anybody that can confirm that the knife was actually in the sink at the time that you say it was in the sink?
Ask Isaac. Isaac is the one that assigns the maids their duties for the evening. So he would have seen the sink full when I asked for the maids to get it done, and he would have assigned maids to it. Ask Isaac. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to get lunch made, as everyone's a little cranky, as we didn't really get to have breakfast.
Carry on, unless either of you two have any further questions.
upon examining him during that line of questioning, can I discern any dishonesty, or is he genuinely just confused?
He is fucking bewildered. Like, he knew there was something up with the spice cabinet, but that's where his spices were, so he really walked over there whenever it was necessary. Otherwise, he kind of like you get the sense that he's honest. It's like he's steered clear of that.
All right. Well, if the utensils were left for the maids, and we do have a maid missing, as we were told earlier.
Yes, indeed.
Out of character, I don't remember what her name is. In
Oh.
character, I have identity memory.
It's funny. This is where Brandon will admit to a fuck up that he doesn't have to admit to. I had her name written down as Allison, but I know that for the session I named her Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna go with
Thought it's
Vanessa.
her. Okay.
Yeah, you absolutely could have just told us Vanessa, and we would not have known.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think Isaac should be our next target for questions. Where might we find him at this time of day?
She is gathered with everyone else in the foyer, waiting for any updates on the situation. I imagine they'll be surprised to see you come from down here and not from the stairs.
Or somebody won't be.
That's a good point. Let's close this up and pay close attention to reactions as we enter the room. Thank you for your help, Bertrand.
I also highly advise staying out of there. It could be really bad for your health.
Duly noted.
So I'll close that back up and lock it and make sure not to knock any of his spices around or anything like that.
Alrighty. So as you all
Actually, before we go, knowing that there is a passage in the kitchen, do you know of anyone at any point in the past who's ever come and gone to and from the kitchen who you wouldn't have expected to be here?
What do you mean by that? Like recently?
Recently, or at any point, really. Just who might have known about this passage and been using it.
I mean, when the children came up here in their younger years, they'd find secret passages all over this manor. I think it was a way of kind of keeping them out of sight and out of the away from their father, a place for them to hide and play around. So maybe the children knew of it. I imagine maybe a guard or a maid or two know about it. It wasn't my business.
So it is perhaps better known than would be convenient, but there may still be a lead there. Thank you again.
Okay.
All right, onward to the foyer and to Isaac, I believe.
Yep. As you enter the foyer, there's a very heated discussion going.
As expected.
Powell is livid. Where
I
is
guess
the
the king
letter?
got killed before he got his lordship.
Yep. Where is the letter? He has it somewhere. He said he'd write it. He said he'd write it in the morning, Peter. I don't care. I was promised a lordship. Which one of you?
Gentlemen.
He is ignoring you. Which of you is acting ruler now? Give me my lordship.
Bold of you to make demands of the acting ruler.
Everyone is bickering a little bit. Still, that they see you all walk in and it dies down. Peter is fuming.
Definitely scanning for reactions about where we came from.
Give me insights.
I swear to God, if I roll a 5, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay.
I got an 18 because that if the 7 on the die becomes an 8. Or well, oh never mind. That's for determining if they're lying. I think.
Yeah.
That's
So
not,
17.
uh,
Yeah, it's not all.
7. All of them look surprised to see you. 17. A number of people. The main people that you were looking for were like the reaction from the church. Maybe a couple of guards and a few of the maids there. Isaac doesn't look surprised. Tabitha doesn't look surprised. Cassandra and Daisy don't look surprised. With Jorson, you gather all that as the only child that seems surprised by you walking in from that location is Alexander.
Fair.
He looks bewildered. What?
Is something wrong?
No. Where'd you come from? There's no stairs over there.
Are you sure about that?
Suddenly, I'm not.
Right.
Alexis looks to Daisy and Cassandra. So that's where you always hid during hide and seek. They shrug.
Is Frederick here? He's the only one that wasn't mentioned, I think.
Frederick wasn't surprised. Wasn't surprised by the hiding spot either.
Oh, okay.
They're all here.
He's
So like,
go ahead.
like how Alexander just like never looked for it apparently.
Frederick is
I never found it at least.
currently writing in his fucking tome.
Fair enough.
Well, he was. He's paying attention since all of you were in the room, but like he has it open on his lap. He's sitting down. Lord Wolf is face down on the ground, hopefully not drowning in his vomit.
We may be able to rule out Lord Wolf as a suspect here, given that he was debilitated throughout the night.
Unless he's a really good actor.
Going
I
to
give
roll.
an incredulous look.
And look at the vomit and be like, and committed.
Very committed.
He may have soiled himself. You're not sure and you don't want to check.
Is he breathing? Like, I don't...
He's breathing.
No, he didn't just die in front of everyone, did he? Because this was chaotic times.
The only reason you know he's breathing is because he's snoring.
Like into the vomit.
Yes.
Must clean that up.
Right.
Oh, well, we'll wait.
Isaac.
I'm very glad I don't work here. But yes, Isaac.
Yes, how can I help?
We need to borrow you for a moment.
Absolutely. Do you wish to discuss here or
Somewhere in private, preferably.
Yeah, private would be best.
absolutely?
We'll, I guess, go off to a side room.
Yeah,
Just
at least
not
a couple
before.
rooms away.
Yeah.
So you all walk probably towards like a coat room where everyone's like coats and belongings are stored that they don't need on hand immediately. Yes, how can I help?
Excellent. Should muffle the sounds.
So, who was in the kitchen last night?
Let's see. We have Vanessa, Claire, and Miss Thomas. All of them were in charge of tidying up the kitchen last night.
Would you happen to know who would, if any of them, as I'm not familiar with how you handle things, would any of them have been last to leave by any notable margin of time?
No, I was busy seeing to other parts of the uh, the house of the manor. Didn't see who was last in there. I came back and everything seemed tidy.
It is to our knowledge that a Miss Vanessa, I believe was the given name, has been unaccounted for.
Yes, and I'm not quite sure where she went. I didn't.
As far as you know, before we go tracking her down, has there been any sort of suspicious behavior from her before? Any, I mean, even inkling of potential risk factor?
I mean, there was some unproven allegations of her stealing something from another maid, but nothing of the suspicious sort. Nothing that would just petty squabbles among the servants. There's nothing that I wanted to bother the king on, and he'd have no knowledge of it. But
So you would feel it safe to say that she would seem harmless enough to not sully her own hands in such a heinous act.
I mean, I don't know if she could handle a knife. Well, there's a reason why we don't have her in the kitchen staff.
I'm not asking whether you think she did it or not. I'm asking from your impression of her. She did not give you that air.
I think I'm a good judge of character, and I don't believe I would have hired her had that been the case.
But it could be feasible that she could have assisted the killer.
I mean, potentially? I'm not sure.
Is there any of the... Well, I guess, how long did you say she was with you? About a decade or so?
She's been here for about 10 years, yes.
So I suppose she's probably not particularly close to any of the children.
No, most of them have grown into adulthood.
No.
18 at the time.
Unless Cassandra is a thing for maids, though I guess I shouldn't have said that.
He does give a reaction to that. He's like, shush, that's scandalous.
Understood. Mouth was moving a little faster than my head there for a moment. So, I'm assuming the staff reside within the manor here. They do not have a separate staff building.
No, they reside here in the...
Okay. I suppose we might need to check in with the guards then to see if there was any signs of anybody leaving the building last night. Otherwise,
Yes.
she might be hiding somewhere within the house. And if she is hiding purposefully, then that gives us all the more reason to find her.
I understand. Don't know where she could have gone. Now that I think about it, she didn't... Don't know if she arrived to bed. I'd have to ask some of the other servants.
And where might we find them?
They should also be in the foyer or helping out around the bottom floor of the house, as we thought everything would be contained upstairs. But with you coming down here, I imagine that we will have to call them back.
Right. I suppose we'll get on that then. In the meantime, mayhaps you could see to maybe making the children more comfortable. As I understand it, the chef is preparing lunch. So,
maybe I will. I think that would be a good time. I will ask the guards if I can gather firewood, and I will build a nice, comfortable fire and have us some warm drinks.
That sounds like a very good choice.
While we have you for a moment, can you tell me how the staff here are generally treated, or were generally treated by the king? Were they treated well? Did any of them particularly dislike him at all?
He treated them with the utmost respect, as a king would.
Okay. So feelings were generally positive from their end.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I assume if you're saying that, I assume he treated you well as well.
I helped him during. I was one of the soldiers in his battalion that he led into the fortress of the God Emperor, and I was there when he struck him down. It was a glorious sight, but I took an arrow to the knee, so was not fit for battle or combat, and I wasn't much of a strategist. But as I was the commander at the time, he wished to continue to have my support and my employ, and I have served him dutifully.
I see. Thank you for your assistance.
All right.
And sorry to hold you up for so long.
Not a problem. He walks back and is, all right, everyone. I believe that we should sit down. Lunch should be prepared soon. I'm going to build us a nice, cozy fire, as I believe it's going to get rather cold here soon. And is there any preference for warm drinks? Eggnog, warmed up rum, a good warm rum, hot cocoa. I knew you kids love that. Frederick raises his hand for the hot cocoa. Everyone else is rum. Please, rum.
And we'll have a nice day.
So everyone starts making their way into the dining hall to sit down and prepare for their warm stews.
Well, I suppose we ought to start questioning the rest of the staff as to whatever her name was.
Vanessa?
Whereabouts. Yes, that one. Reaching a point where it's beginning to become one too many names in a short amount of time.
I understand. I believe the others working were it was Claire and who else?
Claire and Miss Tomlinson.
Claire and Miss Tomlinson in the kitchen last night, along with Vanessa.
All right. So let's see if we can track them down and ask some questions.
Yes.
It doesn't take you too long to track them down.
Mm-hmm.
As they are working in the manor. And yes, how can we help?
So
I wanted to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
We wanted to ask the two of you some questions about any goings on last night in the kitchen.
In what regard?
Well, first, do you know where Vanessa is? She is the only one present at the manor last night who is unaccounted for today.
I do not know where she went. We were cleaning up in the kitchen, and she walked away rather early. She said that she had to use the restroom, but she came back, helped us finish up, and then we went about our business. We started getting ready for bed, and she said that she wanted to go outside for a smoke, and we fell asleep and we assumed that we'd see her in the morning, but no sign of her.
All right. Do you know, is there any particular place she tends to go if she needs to get away for a time?
Yeah, she'll usually go out the back door. She likes to look out on the slope, the back slope. She likes to look out there and uh, wax poetically about the sights and sounds of the nature and the mountains, but I guess we just didn't have the sophisticated minds for that because it rather bored us.
I see. So she didn't make it back to bed with everyone, so she needed to go somewhere and didn't return.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unusual for her to do that before going to bed for the evening. She to get a late night smoke in and maybe write something down. Or I don't even know. Did she know how to write? I think she knew how to write. Maybe she liked to wander off while everyone else went to sleep and then return. It was a common occurrence and common enough for us not to take any notice of it. It was just strange that we didn't see her this morning. Some of us assumed she woke up earlier than everyone else to get to work, which would have been strange.
All right. Do either of you two have any questions for them?
You notice any strange behavior from her last night, other than her disappearing to go to the bathroom and then not returning?
Oh no, she did return.
I'm sorry. But anything other than that?
She cast a side-eyed glance to Cassandra, but they had a fling at one point in their early youth. But from my understanding, there was no hard feelings.
Right. Interesting.
Besides, as we all found out very last night with the shouting, Miss Cassandra has other plans for Miss Sandrin, a friend she's had since they were 6. So.
Yes. She did seem quite set on that path. I don't know. Does our third have any other questions?
Jorson?
Jorson shake his head.
All right.
Fascinating. Very, very fascinating.
Well, we will get back to work then.
All right. Thank you for your time. I'll turn to the others and take out my pipe again. I suggest we go and look where Vanessa likes to smoke, and while we're there, in the back, the other piece of evidence we learned of previously.
Yes. I think that is our way forward for the time being.
I start off in that direction, beckoning behind me for my construct to follow. And she does.
You'll make your way to the back door. You open it up, and it is a steep slope. Not quite that 45-degree angle that is described behind where the king slept, but it does get to that point later down the line. It does gradually get steeper as you progress forward, though.
Yeah, okay.
I imagine you all would like to make investigation checks at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
By this time, it's around noon, like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
And there's my terrible rolls again.
Two.
I got a 9
It's
total.
Fear not, I got a 25.
25. you take in the sights and sounds, and it's like this is a beautiful spot to sit, but you think you'd have a better view to the right a little bit more, and you start following that line of thinking because you like there's like a tree that's just standing up right in the middle where two mountain peaks are, and it kind of obstructs it. You want to get a better framing of like the sun or the moon. And you walk in that direction a little bit, and you find a blood trail.
Oh. Is this the same blood trail as the head, or is this a different spot?
No, that's about 60 feet in the same direction. This is different. You look down, and you see sticking out from underneath a bush a very pale womanly hand.
I believe I may have found Vanessa.
Or just her hand.
Or just her hand.
Uh,
Our culprit does seem to enjoy removing parts from people, so that could be the case.
Well,
but let's be honest.
You know.
You pull on the hand, and it's missing a head.
Or specifically removing heads. I see. Perhaps she
Well,
was
they're
aware.
nothing if not consistent.
Ah, that's super loud.
Your audio has changed dramatically. I think maybe perhaps your headset died.
Yes, I switched headsets, in fact. I apologize for sound blasting. I did not realize it would be that much of a difference.
It is dramatic.
I am sorry about that.
I have adjusted, and I hoped everyone else has.
I did a little bit. Alright, well, they didn't seem averse to leaving a trail of blood leading to the head for the king. Let's see if they did the same thing. So I'll look around to where else the blood may lead.
The blood trail, you believe you know exactly what it's from. You believe it's from where they were decapitated and rolled down the hill.
Oh, I mean, I was gonna see if there was a trail, like there was for the other head. Which it sounds like there.
There is not a trail like someone disposed of the head. Like there is a slight trail, like with a 25. You get all of this just fine. She was standing here. The assailant decapitated her, stuffed her underneath the bush, and once she got decapitated, her head hit the ground and rolled down the hill.
Yeah. Any sign of a struggle, or did this look like just like a sneak attack?
It looks like it was over in an instant.
Oh, okay. So she didn't even see it coming. Alright.
Someone got real close to her.
Yeah. Does her body... I mean, I don't know if there'd be much of a difference, given that they both happened last night. But does her body / blood look any more fresh or less fresh than the king's?
The unfortunate circumstance that you have to go on, even with a 25, like you're not a forensic pathologist.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know that she's going to be colder because she was outside in the middle of winter in the northern mountains at night.
That's true. So, and yeah, she was outside, he was inside. The conditions are too different to really make a judgment there.
Yeah, but you imagine based on the story told, she died last night.
Yeah.
I've studied dead bodies murdered by things. Would I be able to, by like coagulation of the blood or the state of rigor mortis or what have you?
I would be willing to accept a survival from any of you.
I have survival, in fact.
You can roll it.
Excellent.
Do I need to be proficient to give the help action with that?
I'd say yes for survival. I treat survival like a knowledge skill most of the time, unless you're actively like building a fire. Like,
are you fucking kidding me? I rolled a 2, got a 7.
You're used to dealing with animals, which are usually covered in fur, which gives you an idea of how well insulated they are. She's in a uniform, a maid uniform, and stuffed underneath the bush. This is a little bit outside your area expertise. You know that it happened last night, but you're not going to be able to give a specific time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It was worth a shot, you know?
Yeah.
The dice just hate me today.
I've noticed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Give me back my luck. I know you stole it.
I did.
These are your rolls.
They are. Enjoy them.
No.
Too fucking bad. But yeah, is there anything else you'd all like to do while you're outside?
Well, we can certainly rule out Vanessa. I assume because this is also in the back, the king's thrown out of the king's window would have been in like line of sight for her.
Like I
I
said,
don't
yeah.
know if we can rule her out as an accomplice, though.
I think that
That's fair.
even if she was killed as an accomplice, her being here gives us a lead as to why and who might have done it because of that. Whether she was in the way or supposed to help, that is a definite direction to go.
Well, here's my thought at the moment. We're either dealing with somebody who can be incredibly stealthy, because I'm not seeing any clear paths in the snow out here. Plus, it's a clean, quick cut like a professional. And either they were stealthy or I don't know if it was snowing last night after we got in, so maybe if there were tracks it got covered, but either somebody snuck up behind her or she was perfectly aware of somebody behind her but was not expecting them to strike. So somebody she trusted. I'm not going to say it's a coin toss either way. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Of course. And as before with the king's body, someone with the sufficient strength and skill for a clean decapitating cut with a single stroke.
I will say it does put some suspicion on Cassandra. I am, well, I don't know if I would say hesitant, because I believe anybody is capable of anything. My initial impression of her, and from what Alexis has told me of her, I wouldn't believe her to be the kind to have an ex-lover of all things be an accomplice and then cut them down for the sake of covering up evidence. But considering the circumstances, she wants to be married to someone she obviously cares about very deeply and is not thrilled at all about being married off to a man. It would give motive. It would fit the bill for a premeditated but still emotionally driven crime.
And what of Alexis
Indeed.
herself?
There.
She would have some motivation to commit this crime. As with the king dead, I doubt that any kind of deal would go through.
I will say I am biased, but I will do my best to give a fair opinion. Alexis is a very accomplished warrior, do not get me wrong. Could she pull off a decapitation like this? Without doubt. But I know Lexus. There's a reason why she's hired me to help her out. She's not an assassin. I mean, you heard her father last night. He's proud of her. Which is why she does get upset when she talks about, or when he talked about marrying her off. Because I believe to some extent she had hoped that proving herself as a warrior would, I don't know, grant some kind of clemency. That said, I don't think, while she can be determined, I don't think she has the ability to be sneaky or as subtle as this kind of thing would demand. She's too confrontational, to be brutally honest. I'm not saying it's impossible that she could have done it. I suppose she really had her mind set on doing it, but I think it's safe to say more of her attention has been on figuring out how not to kill her suitor. Is more of a concern for her rather than killing her own father.
I would like to roll insight here.
Roll insight.
Yeah, same.
Zach, you can roll whatever you'd like, and then inform me whatever you want to roll. For me, privately or publicly.
15. Damn.
I think that's the lowest I've seen you roll with any of your skills, realistically.
Any of my good ones, at least.
Hey, there's your numbers, boy. You can do it. I knew you could do it.
Oh,
Huh?
I suppose
I believe you told me to shut up.
under technicality it would be deception. Go figure.
So
I got 13.
you got a 13.
Yep.
Both of them beat you.
Yep.
In that statement, what is not true?
It's probably clear enough to tell that he does think that she is capable of doing it. But he is unsure if she would really have the wherewithal to actually do it.
So,
there is doubt, but there is also the certainty mixed in of, could she if she really wanted to? Yeah, absolutely.
Jordan. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying Jordan will just not.
Jordan will just not.
As was I see.
So,
Well, I think we should gather that we're left out here. Wouldn't do to just leave those laying around.
you can easily call a guard to come grab it. You don't have to drag it in yourself.
Yeah, well, I would like to get a look at them before anyone messes with them, at least. I assume they're just probably not messed with too much, but it's worth a look.
Where are you wanting to look at again?
Just following the blood trails to the heads.
You go looking for them, and you see the tattered remains of a scalp, some bits of skull. Tends to what happens when a severed head rolls down a hill, a rocky mountain that gets steadily steeper. You imagine at the bottom of the mountain, there are 2 piles of pulp. That could be at best identified as skulls, but probably indistinct on who it belongs to, if the animals haven't gotten to it.
I didn't realize it became that steep and like much of a drop after the hill. I thought it was like a hill down into woods.
So
all right.
there
I'm
are
not gonna go further
trees.
down there.
Yeah, sorry, that's probably on my bad. There are trees that come up the hill, but like the incline is like, oh, it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees, it's 45 degrees. Oh God, it's going steeper.
It like curves down.
Yeah.
Trees will grow on really steep inclines sometimes.
Yeah.
My question is, would grim psychometry, since it can be used on an area, be applicable here?
I believe it would.
All right, I'll go for it.
There's
Naturally, I only roll a 14.
a 14 is not bad. You're just not gonna get a vision at him. There's this feeling of serenity and calm. And you kind of tap into Vanessa's feeling. You know that's who you're tapping into. There's this feeling of calm, serenity. You get a sense that you need to look to your left. Upon looking to your left, there's this brief instant of familiarity, followed by sudden dread and fear, and then nothingness.
But not surprised?
There is an inkling of that. It's hidden behind the dread. It's
okay.
They saw what you can assume. A safe assumption is they saw their murderer. They were familiar with them, so they weren't immediately startled. But then the murderer took out a weapon.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was just curious whether it was like when the weapon was taken out, they were more, oh, I'm about to get killed, or why is this person I know doing this?
The brief surprise was just like, oh my God, that's a weapon. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I am actually dead now.
Okay.
That was the order. It was like serenity and peace, familiarity, sudden surprise, dread, nothingness. In probably a little bit slower than that, but roughly that speed.
All right. So like I imagine Dorson just kind of like kneels down, places a hand on the ground, and lets these like feelings wash over him as he stands again. I don't think she was an accomplice.
What have you found?
She was out here. She was feeling peace. Then she saw someone she knew, saw them take out a weapon, and was both afraid and surprised before her quick death.
Doesn't really narrow it down.
You said she saw someone she recognized?
Yes.
All right. Something is coming together in my head. I believe whoever... Sorry.
Well, I was just going to ask, do you have... I don't know how your abilities work. Are you able to identify what exactly classifies as recognized? Like, are we talking just, you know, it's like, hey, I know that person? Or are we talking about something deeper than that? Because if it's, hey, I've seen that person before, I mean, recognized doesn't really help us, unfortunately.
It was general familiarity.
Okay.
Perhaps that doesn't help narrow down the suspects, but it does absolve her of being uh, accessory.
I think what's
Potentially.
coming together in my head right now. So she didn't, at least it doesn't sound like she witnessed the king's head thrown out the window.
No,
Because that probably would have been quite surprising. But
no,
I
there was nothing
believe,
but serenity and peace.
yes. So she was very likely killed before that happened. I There are a couple of possibilities. One, she was killed by the same person who killed the king with the cleaver. And I would like to go up the cleaver to see if there's evidence of more than one swing. But it could also be that two people are involved. One of them, or at least one of them, knew that Vanessa would be out here at this time of night. The other maid said that it was common. So someone who knew Vanessa well and someone she recognized, as your abilities have determined. So they
Mhm.
and the one they were working with discuss their plan and split up. One of them comes out here. Perhaps they already own a weapon and don't need to borrow one from the kitchen. And they kill Vanessa just in time for their accomplice to go through the secret passage and kill the king in his bed with the cleaver.
In my experience, a cleaver is a suitable weapon for chopping heads, but with a something to chop against. The king getting decapitated in his bed would require much less strength and finesse than trying to slice a head off while someone is standing and facing.
Yeah. Well, I believe it would still require finesse here and skill, but perhaps not as much strength for something that is designed for such a thing. As I said, I would like to go examine, or well, I guess I don't really have to examine it again. I have keen mind. I can just think back to what I saw on the cleaver, the pattern of the blood. Was there evidence of more than one chop with it, or did it
Um,
just look like one chop's worth of blood smear?
so with keen mind, you have uh, essentially eidetic memory.
Yeah, I didn't remember back to a month, but it's a 3 shot, so whole thing.
With looking back on it and thinking on it now, you thought that some of that blood looked a little too dry,
Mhm.
but you didn't think much of it at the time. Now you have a reason to think otherwise. So you imagine that this was the same one.
Yeah. Thinking back to the cleaver, actually, some of it did seem more dry than the rest of the blood, so perhaps it was used. Perhaps the same weapon was used to kill both Vanessa. And I would
But
stand
she
by
didn't see
the
the
murderer.
head. She didn't
Hmm?
see the head. So she would have been out here and hadn't
If you
noticed anything. So
if she didn't see the
why?
head, she was killed first.
That's what I'm saying. So why come out here and kill her and then go kill the king? Sure, they threw the head out the window, but they wouldn't necessarily, the culprit wouldn't be seen by the time she would have seen the head going down the hill. The culprit would have been, I mean, back in the room by the time the
the girl would have turned to look at the point of origin.
Maybe they didn't want the alarm raised that soon.
My thought
Maybe.
is that as somebody who hunts, you secure your perimeter before you go for the kill.
That said,
You
though,
would
why
not
not
want the chance of something going awry because of a unknown.
still? Why not simply wait for her to go to bed, though? If she, going on the assumption that our culprit knew she would be out here, they would have known that she doesn't stay out here for the whole night. They could have waited until she was finished smoking and was no longer here to witness it. Maybe.
Exactly. Unless
Were they in a hurry?
the culprit is somebody who's not familiar with the household.
Hmm.
But remember
elf.
that the culprit knew about the tunnel.
That is true. They knew about the tunnel, but they didn't think to wait for. I mean, the girl does this regularly.
And she did recognize them, too.
Yes. Remember that passion causes some impatience.
I don't know.
Maybe they just. I don't know if it would cause so much impatience that they would kill an extra person.
Yeah, this is the other thing to keep in mind is this is premeditated. This is something that was planned. Whoever it was, they waited this long to enact their plan. What would be another hour?
Perhaps, given all the servants of the manor, this is the best window.
But everybody else had gone to bed at that point. She would have, based off of what information we do have, she would have been the straggler for going to bed. Because I asked earlier and they said they don't really have a night crew, really. The maids clean up and then they go to bed.
Then perhaps they had a motive to want to kill her as well.
So the children knew of the passage.
All but the
somebody
paladin,
the
her
maid
son.
recognized. All but the paladin. All but Alexander.
He has
I'm
a name.
curious. I'm curious. The elf, whatever his name was, the one who said he fought alongside the king. I'm curious how familiar he is with the house. Because, based off of what was said last night, he's been gone some couple decades now.
20 years, everyone said.
And this Vanessa chick, what did they say? She was here when the kids were, practically, or were adults at that point.
She's been here about 10 years.
Exactly. So, if he had knowledge of the passage, that could potentially fit the bill, but that's still just.
He also had a reason.
Why get impatient at the end?
But he had a reason to want the king to survive the night to write his letter.
Yes, he had direct interest in the king surviving.
That's also true.
Without the king alive, he has no guarantee that any of the siblings, particularly before any of them have been announced as the heir, would follow through.
Unless he maybe had some kind of contact with, or maybe a deal with somebody to levy more in his favor once the king croaked.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's a lot about this elf character we don't know.
There is. He certainly makes me somewhat uncomfortable, but I don't know enough to implicate him specifically.
I will say it did make me a touch suspicious last night that he did happen to show up the night the king decided to announce that he was ailing.
That was strange. Did this invitation? I actually don't know if I would know this
Remember.
already or not, but did this invitation go out to anybody?
This
Like, was
invitation
this?
was just for his kids.
Yeah, like,
He-
did anyone else even know about it?
Maybe like a general other than Lord Wolf. Like obviously, like if whatever position that they were holding, that these individuals were occupying beforehand, they informed whoever was in charge, if they weren't the ones in charge or the person below them, hey, I'm going away for for like a week or so. My dad wants all of his kids together to discuss something.
Yeah, so
Now-
it's like,
Who might
okay,
have
we gotta
known.
do.
Now, mind you, everyone in the kingdom has heard rumors that the king has fallen ill with a disease. He confirmed these rumors to them last night and gave them a timetable. A few other things. The two maids that were helping Vanessa in the kitchen, they stayed in the kitchen the entire time. They said that she left at one point, she came back, they went to bed. She said, I'm gonna go for a smoke and to muse whimsically. That is the tracking of Vanessa so far. You don't know what she was doing beforehand, and you do have gaps in time for what she was doing.
I think motives we have for the king being killed involve anyone who thought that he could do them some form of harm during his last 2 weeks and needed him dead as soon as possible. And also anyone who definitely didn't think that they would be chosen as the successor, but want to be the successor and think that they can gain an advantage if he's out of the picture.
I would also, before we move on too far, this elf did express that he had direct contact with the hag who had prescience, or premonition at least.
That's true.
But did the hag actually give a definitive, you need to be at the house at this time?
We don't know.
Exactly.
Uh,
And honestly,
with keen mind.
if we are suspicious of him,
Actually, no, we don't.
what's to say that the story of the hag is true? I mean, only
He
this
describes her
elf
to a T.
fellow. Only okay. I mean, maybe he's had experience with hags. If you can recognize the description of a hag just from receiving it, maybe he can too. My point is, according to the story, only him and the king were there. I don't
Right.
think the king is vetted this story because I don't remember it coming up from the king's side last night unless there was a conversation I missed somewhere. But
No.
I doubt the king would have wanted anyone knowing he had consorted with a hag.
which is fair. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying if we are calling into suspicion the elf, I'm saying we don't take anything only the elf has said with no corroboration as fact.
Oh, of course.
That's all I was trying to get at. However, I think my strongest suspicions still lie with Tabitha. There's a lot of motive there.
She did seem that her father was the most upset with.
And it
I believe she was one of the children who were aware of the passage.
Yes.
The one piece that doesn't fit is this part right here, where the maid is slaughtered. But, I mean, it might be as you said, she might have just been preemptively securing the perimeter, but in my professional opinion, I think that's sloppy.
It would be safer to kill fewer people. If they
Yeah,
had in mind the desire to make everything as secure as possible, they would have simply not done that.
but
Perhaps.
maybe she's not as, or the killer in general is not as professional as one would think. So maybe she didn't get impatient, especially after the whole announcement last night, or whoever it was.
Maybe. Maybe they went
Jorson
to.
will.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say Jorson will like kind of sigh. As loath as I am to bring the subject up, do you think she would have the strength to decapitate 2 people in a night so cleanly?
Overall strength, it really depends on the blade, something like a butcher's cleaver. I'm confident it's sharp enough that
And
you
heavy enough.
wouldn't need an immense amount of strength. Typically, the duller the blade is, it's still possible. I mean, you really, if you had the strength and the willpower, you could do it with something like a hammer. But I mean, it obviously wouldn't cut cleanly, but it would be possible. But the sharper something is, the less force you need. I'm assuming the chef is professional enough to keep his blade sharp, especially a cleaver, considering what you use it for.
Keen mind, that thing was still sharp when you picked it up.
So,
Oh, so it's like.
feasibly,
Yeah, you remember it being sharp still.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good cleaver. Like, it didn't get dull
So
from
it's
doing
a
this.
pretty good cleaver, and he takes good care. He has his
Okay.
fucking name embroidered, stamped on it. You would hope that he takes good care of it.
so feasibly, in my professional opinion, yeah, it's possible. If what is said is true, that she does employ the shadowy tactics of taking out enemies unaware or otherwise indisposed, I think she would have the ability to do so, yes. Physically speaking.
Or hire someone else to do it.
Yeah. That said, I've never seen her allegedly do these things, but for the king to be so forward about how much he dislikes what she does, I am inclined to believe there's truth to it.
Maybe she thought there wouldn't be anything to lose if the king died more quickly. Especially, I think she was probably the least likely to be chosen as successors. So.
Considering that letter,
Perhaps.
yeah.
The letter, and I will admit I am as well biased given my company, that I believe the letter, she would be smart enough to realize that something like that would be in place.
Which cuts both ways. It
Yes.
could give her the insight to behave, or it could make her desperate.
Yes. Desperation could account for impatience if she want to wait until Vanessa was out of the way.
Yeah, especially after that speech last night.
I think this is a perfect place to call it. It's 11 o'clock. We've been going for. Tape says 3 hours and 24 minutes. So we'll call it there. Questions, comments, suggestions. Everyone have fun, first of all.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
get
yeah.
him.
And
Again,
I'm just playing a quieter character. Don't mistake that for me not enjoying this.
Let me know if I'm like doing too much and taking up too much time.
I need you to roll worse. Finding my clues too easily. How dare you?
Yeah.
Why can't you?
Have my roll.
Yeah, why can't you roll like Damiani? Even then, that's like a 15 half the time.
That's splitting it down the middle between bad rolls and good rolls.
Yeah. But all in all, I'm enjoying this. So far, how are people enjoying the mystery part of it? Do you feel like the clues are helping you? Like not knowing the answer yet. Do you feel like the clues are helpful, or?
I think they're definitely giving us a direction to go as we go around, and we're building more information as we go. So I think that they're effective.
Yeah, I feel like they are opening up more potential suspects, but also narrowing it down. Because like adding like out of character, adding Elfman as a possible suspect, it's like, could he have? Yeah, as a player, personally, I don't really think he did do it, but maybe.
Oh yeah, like out of character, he's not really a concern for me.
Yeah, like I do think it's possible that it could be him, but I don't. Story wise, I don't think it's him. But like he's added to the list, but at the same time, with all the other evidence, it's like, no, somebody else still seems more guilty.
It's weird that he's here, but it might be that he like saw this as an opportunity to come to talk to the king because like there were already people coming here, and just like he also loses a lot by killing him.
Yeah, I mean
he
also can serve as a good red herring, just because of how suspicious it is that he shows up.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
That's what I think he is.
Yeah.
I will say that I feel justified in where I put the majority of my clues for DC wise for like you guys running into them. Just let's go over some of the ones that you guys have hit. Noticing the chef's name on there, fairly easy. It's like I think I put that one at like an 11. 12. Because otherwise it's just like it's caked in blood. You don't recognize anything on it. Noticing that the king's head was cut off in one strong swift cut. Investigation. I actually put that one pretty high. I put that at a 20. But if you had medicine, it drops down to a 15.
That makes sense. Man, medicine would have been a good skill for this character to have. I didn't even think about that.
I took in consideration folks having different skill types.
Yeah.
Looking at the scene of the crime, no sign of struggle. An easy investigation check was 15. No forced entry. You got that. That was also a 15. If you had thieves' tools, you could tell. You rolled like a 19 or something on your investigation for that.
Yeah, and I do have skills proficiency.
Okay, you would have, but you got the information you would have got out of it anyway if you had thieves' tools.
Okay.
Just the DC was lower. That the lock was changed and had not been tampered with.
How new was that lock? Was like it wasn't like installed last days.
No, it's maybe 2 weeks old.
Okay. If someone's just like, I damaged it while I was picking it, gotta get a new lock. That'd be hilarious.
No sign of a struggle. The desk was tampered with. That was an easy investigation, like 16, 17. Had you just like walked in the room and based perception to see, it's like, oh, that doesn't look right. That was a higher DC. I generally try to put that as a higher DC. Searching through it, you found everything that was in it. You found the Holy Chaos symbol in a blank tome. You found the letter that was just kind of like stuck off to the side. Let's see. Found the hidden compartment. That one was an investigation of 22, but a thieves' tool of 17. So you have fucking destroyed that. And then you found the vanity meter.
You know, It's funny that I have Heat Tools proficiency, but not like the actual set.
Ah,
Like you don't have a set of thieves tools.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
yeah,
thought this
no.
was
My
a
class
single.
gives me Thieves Tool proficiency. Or my background does.
Oh, wait, why didn't you? Well, I guess if you had spent your gold, you probably would have had some.
Yeah, probably. That's my fault
very
for
true.
not like preparing for this as much as I should have or could have. I've been busy.
Be less busy.
Stop doing so much
I
stuff.
will in 2 days.
Oh, it's too late.
Something did occur to me.
Alexander could very well just be really good at acting. He is a paladin.
You know what's funny is I actually kind of have begun to suspect Frederick of like just snapping.
But a lot more like
Fair.
sad and hurt than angry, but
Yeah, but
I don't
people
know.
that can transform very quickly.
Fair.
And
I
he
mean,
would absolutely be smart enough to plan this stuff out, and he has the magic to make up for whatever he lacks physically.
So the thing with Frederick is I don't think he would do it out of anger. Like if he was, I think if he was actually a suspicious party, it would have been pretty cold and calculated. Um,
But with that, I will stop the recording here. Thank you all so much for listening. And the next one will be the finale, the accusation, j'accuse.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.